not gonna lie. I feel like a small Coke Zero can feels like a chilled day at the office for the White Monster guy, of which I've been hustling to get you a fight today. Crypto Fight League, October the 1st, Singapore.
I'm in.
Singapore. I've reached out to them. I'll put this out there anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
We can be transparent about the conversations. I've sent a message to them. I basically said, I'm repping someone and we want to go Sizzler.
Yeah.
Give me a name, a matchup, makes sense for this date, and let's go crazy. I don't know who they're going to say, what they're going to say, and they may just leave me on red. But I don't know. I'm going off on a rant, sorry.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know how we've not got a bite yet.
Yeah.
It just, to me, looks like an obvious move to make. Anyone that's watching GBTV on socials, anyone that's watching the White Monster Guy on Instagram, anyone that's watching Long Kavanagh in the UFC, or Nathaniel Wood, or Ash, or Brad, or anyone that features, that's going to, in turn, get the content spiral off the back of it. Not to mention just their organisations itself. I don't know, it's just a no-brainer to me.
Some people aren't clued up in the space, you know, they just see it as... They're just a bit dated with their mindset, but it will come. Believe it.
And I have full faith of it as well. That's why I speak with conviction, because it's just a no-brainer. Win, lose or draw, no?
Yeah.
It's just irrelevant of the outcome. That's why it's so fun, because you're playing with house's money, because it's essentially... This is an industry to make the biggest splash, the most noise authentically. Or some people don't do authentically, but we're always going to want to do it authentically because it's just easier for us. We'll just turn up the volume. Talking about turn up the volume. UFC Shanghai, China post-UFC, me Bangkok, you Japan,
You Ashbourne,
me Ashbourne, us London. I wanted to start.
Oh, we're back.
I wanted to start by going all the way to the start of Fight Week from your perspective, but I want you to lead it and I want you to let people in on the first part of that journey for us that people probably don't know.
Yeah, no, we started strong. So it was a Sunday. I was actually at GB Top Team and I was in and in the club just cornering people. Great day. I thought, yeah, this is really good. I'm going to fly tomorrow. The last 3 trips I've been on, I've had an in the club the day before coaching. I get back, you're here, Oscar's here, my parents are here, my brothers are here. And I'm like, I'm going to double check to see if my flight is... Because, you know, it might be... It's at 8, but double check that it's 8 p.m, not a.m. Because that would be fucking stupid, right? If I got the complete wrong time frame for my flight. And I'm like, I checked the ticket, double check is Heathrow. And it says flying on the 17th. And I said, no, I'm flying on the 18th. And then I just kept looking at it thinking, no. So I'm like fucking holding pads for people in the club while my flight's in the air. My flight's in the air. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be in China tomorrow. So yeah, that set me back 650 quid straight away. But not going was just a non-negotiable. I'd rather go and have less money and vegetate for 3 days, which I did do, which we'll get to. And spend less money. So yeah, we fucked up to start, but it was uphill from there, I would say.
I don't know if you'll remember this small detail because I don't know if you were actually involved. But to add some further colour to this, your mum walks into the front room. We're just sitting there eating dinner. And she looks at us just with her face just dropped. And she doesn't react like that to many things. No. And she went, Frank's missed his flight. And then she goes, well, can you come in the front room and help call up and see if they can do anything? And me just being me, I was thinking, yeah, no problems. I'm just about to get up, about to jump on the phone. And then, as LBM says it, Frank's cousin, he then says, what are you going to tell him? You missed your flight. And I thought, yeah, good point. Why am I calling up? You just haven't turned up to your flight. There is nothing I can do for you here. Yeah. That is just 100% on you.
My friends missed his flight. They're like, all right, what do you want from us? Fucking money back?
He actually said, what do you think they'll do? Send you a link to the next one? And I thought, yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah, there's nothing in that for them. All my fault. Complete accountability.
The only thing that did change was the fact that now you could book my flight. But
Yeah.
what was actually weirder about this whole saga is two things on my end. Firstly, I checked mine 100 times before I left, and I was still convinced when you did it, I probably did the same thing. Just because I had so many dates going on. I was actually away when I booked the trip,
Yeah.
and I was booking 3 flights for that one trip in the space of
stressful.
about
It's
7-8
stressful,
days.
yeah.
So it wasn't, it was the hardest thing in the world, but it's so easy to trip over time zones and dates, and sometimes they put you forward a day, then they give you the local time zone. Sometimes
it's stress.
it can be a minefield. So I empathized with that to a certain extent. But then also, you said to me for so long, oh, why didn't you get my flight? Or why are you flying from there? And I kept saying to you, I never saw
that flight.
Yeah. I would have jumped on it. I was looking for it. It would have made a lot more sense for me. I just never saw it on anything. So I didn't even think that would be the reason. And then looking back on it, it was because it didn't exist. And it was, in fact,
fugazi.
only my flight. But after that, obviously, we get on the plane. That in of itself, the fella that you met on the plane, that was a funny start.
God. So I tend to sleep a lot. I have an innate ability just to sleep. So kind of in and out of consciousness, this guy's kind of chatting to me. Looking back on it, homosexual Chinese man that was very much flirting with me. We ended up bonding over the fact that he loved Forrest Gump.
Such a strange mutual point for you because you're not a massive
I'm not a
film person.
No,
yeah.
I'm not.
And they could have hit you with so many films in this world. But Forrest Gump is probably about the only one you've got some knowledge on.
And Love Actually, he really likes as well.
Good film, to be fair. Yeah. He's been on some planes.
Good films. Yeah,
He's been on some planes. They are on every plane. No, it makes sense now I think about it.
He's travelled. He's cultured. And I remember just coming to you. I went to the toilet. I think he's trying to have sex with me. He gave me his Gmail. Then you were like, definitely get a selfie with him. And I thought, yeah, that is a good idea. So cue the selfie. And we haven't stayed in touch since, but that was fun. That was a fun part of the trip. And he, on the plane, I was like, is Shanghai expensive? Obviously, I'm a little bit down at this point. I'm like 650 quid down. He was like, it's pretty expensive. I get there, I'm like...
Where?
Yeah, where?
For context, I said this to you before. One thing I could not believe was the taxis. I couldn't wrap my head around it at some points.
Yeah.
For example, the first thing I'll say is AJ, who rocked up, classic... stinks of tourism, rocks up, Cockney fella in all designer gear. They can't be bothered to probably pre-download the app. We'll just rock up to China and then give an amount of cash to their local taxi driver. They fleeced him. I think he paid about 50 quid. But he said to me, I remember thinking, oh, that's an amazing deal because he went about an hour. It's an hour from the airport to the taxi. And so he said, 50 quid for an hour journey, which if you're coming from London and whatnot is amazing.
Yeah.
But for us, I got the local app. Shout out to Stephen, I believe his name is. Happened again. We go to China. I get hit up by one of our followers. And then they help out a bunch. Even just giving recommendations or actually sorting things on the other end. But he basically said, right, you need all these apps. And I just blindly followed him. And managed to get from the airport to my hotel, which was an hour. And then to yours, which was 30 minutes more. And it was... £12.
Yeah, it's wild.
It was insane. It's an hour and a half of taxi driving for £12. It was way cheaper. I know this is not necessarily the most interesting place to start, but it was way cheaper than Thailand.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
And the exchange rate is so easy to work out. 300 yen is £3. 100 yen is £1. I'm like, amazing. In Japan, 1,000 yen is a fiver. Now I can work that out, but that does require.
That's not too bad though.
It does require more brain power.
That's not too bad. But
like
this
27,000, 2,700 yen. I'm like, 12,
yeah,
50-ish.
Yeah, true. When you say it like that, I do get you. But the reason I'm laughing is because this is why I thought it was so funny when Lou says to me, oh, how much is this t-shirt? And I said £200 because it's such a simple conversion.
Yeah.
And he's been there for a few days at this point.
Yeah.
It's just divide by 10. And he knew that. Yeah. So I thought I wasn't going to hit him with the trick when I said, oh, it's actually £200. And he nearly cried about paying for this pink t-shirt. And it was very, very funny.
One thing about our friendship group, if you buy it, we will double down. It's just the rules. My
I
family
wasn't
are
trying
like
to
that.
get him to buy it.
No, but like if you do unintentionally, whether you do or you don't mean to, like we will wind you up.
You know when you just throw the hook in there,
Yeah,
just
a Hail
thinking,
Mary.
yeah, I was just like, I'm chucking it in the water because I
Yeah.
might pull out a 20-pound tuna.
Yeah.
You don't actually ever think you're gonna get anything when you chuck it in with a little dangling worm,
But we got one.
but we got one, and yeah, he nearly, as the best modern term, he nearly crashed out, and I've never used that in actual usage, but that was
Unreasonable crash out.
is that what they call it?
Well, I say reasonable crash out.
Is that from your perspective? That's probably the first time that maybe you was around fight week from Tuesday, or am I wrong? In regards to being an away day somewhere.
Yeah,
For
I
the
got to
UFC.
Macau maybe Wednesday,
I thought it was Thursday.
potentially.
Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday evening,
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah, it was.
And then Contender Series, I got there after he'd weighed in. I got there on Monday. Again, another missed flight. Wasn't my fault. Then London was London. I just come back from Rome. I say this out loud. We're pretty well travelled.
Yeah, 100%.
We're pretty well
I thought this the other day. went to. I went
We're
to
like
the.
adults just travelling and just doing shit.
I went to the market with my mum, and there was a bunch of different food stalls. One was Vietnamese, one was Thai, one was Chinese, one was just local British. I remember looking, thinking, I've eaten these local dishes at the best spots, at the local places in these countries. I was thinking, that is such a crazy privilege. I know we don't really think about it too much, but you can't go back even 15, 20 years when travelling like that was not as accessible. Yeah. If you went to Australia, my mum always says it, but it's true. Because I knew people that this was true of, and that was just when I was growing up. They just go to Australia and they wouldn't really even come back, really.
Yeah.
They just kind of stay out there because the flights were so expensive. And it is such a far journey as well.
Yeah,
that
you
it just
might
is
as
a
well make it.
long journey. So, but nowadays we're flipping,
We've been about, man.
we're jet setting everywhere.
Jet setting.
It is crazy to think about it when you just list off the countries itself, and then you think about what we can compare. Shanghai, to me, it caught me off guard. What did you expect?
I always, when it's a complete new place like this, because obviously we've done Macau and we've done Hong Kong. I know people say, oh, they're not technically China. That's China. But we've never done
If you're coming
mainland.
from London,
Yeah,
Essex,
yeah, it's
it
China.
feels like China
Yeah.
for the most part. No one speaks English, I'll tell you that,
Yeah,
at any
yeah.
of those places.
Yeah.
So it feels very Chinese.
Yeah,
Ignorantly, I know politically is not
sure,
the case.
but
Our first time, right?
in mainland.
In
yeah.
actual China, we'd
Yeah.
been Hong Kong and Macau.
Yeah.
And I've, been
No,
there
it was
before.
cool. I always don't really, like, I try not to get too much stuff in my head, but, before, and let it all kind of just, because I love nothing more than the culture shock of going to a new place and just looking around. Sometimes I feel like if you do TikTok recommendations, it does ruin things a little bit.
100%.
It can work in your favour. It definitely can. It can be a
100%.
powerful tool, but you're like, oh, we need to go here and we need to do that.
Yeah.
I quite like the freedom and being spontaneous of just like, oh, let's go here, let's do that. Oh, this restaurant's cool. But fight week's always different because there's always an objective per se. You know, a lot of your days you just spent chilling in the hotel.
Yeah.
We were cracking on. Sleep got a bit messed up.
Got tremendously messed up.
I went to the UFC Performance Institute on 0 hours sleep. Like, actually 0. And we were up chatting, just sort of talking about life and what we want to do with the content and stuff. And I was feeling super motivated and inspired. I'm like, I'm going to rock up to the PI. And these are all like Chinese guys that are absolutely locked in. They're there early, warming up.
Let me explain.
I'm like dying on the side.
Let me explain that we've been sitting in this hotel room, and I remember so distinctively just looking at the time, thinking, "Oh, you're gonna get a cab back now." And we both looked, and it was basically 5:30, or at least close to that time. And we said, we may as well just wait 20 minutes and go to the buffet because breakfast starts at 6.
Yeah.
So you said, oh, there's no point in me going home. So we just said, all right, we'll go get a Monster. So we walked to the local petrol station, of which was 24/7, then go and get a Monster, 3 for 60p each, I think, 65p. Or was it 35?
No, 65p each. That's how you measure
Yeah.
the currency in China. Monsters was 65 pence.
For a nice sized can.
Yeah,
Don't get me
yeah.
wrong, like, I can be gluttonous and want the full shebang, but I felt more civilized having the slender can.
Nice little handheld.
100%. So we go and do that on the bridge. I've actually got those photos I put up this week of
Yeah, I
them.
see them.
And then we get back. At this point, this is when you start feeling delirious, especially nowadays where we don't do all-nighters anymore.
I haven't got it in me.
Yeah, I've not got the minerals
Reaching
for
unk,
that.
as the kids say.
Yeah, 100% reaching unk, and me having sleep more dialed in than usual is a flipping turn up for the books. Regardless, we get back, we then go to breakfast, and then, yeah, as you said, we're preparing for these. I need to paint the picture because they get selected on a combine. Yeah. So they go there.
Athletes. And
they are not necessarily the best mixed martial artists. They're really not. But in regards to work ethic and athleticism and how they're progressing, 100%. It's still very new there, the sport. So in 10 years, they'll be incredible. But everything's tested. Everything is tracked and improved and scanned.
State-of-the-art facility.
So to see us just rock up...
The riffraff has arrived.
We got Ash and yourself, and you gave it a good couple of rounds. I remember thinking...
I went full bollock for 2 rounds. I was like, I'm out, man.
Because they drill and warm up for about an hour.
Yeah.
So you was in a lot of the session.
Yeah.
But then when they just started doing the live rounds, I remember just looking over and thinking...
He's dead.
He's toast. I was going to come up to you and go, oh, come on, like, give me something. I'm, you know what I mean? I want to watch.
There's nothing behind my eyes.
I just looked at you and I thought, you know what? I know where you're at right now. You ain't doing no other rounds. And you just like that. And the fella come over. Oh, I can't remember his name, the coach.
Mina.
Alberto
Mina.
That's good from you.
Come on.
Former UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Great teacher, obviously. Used to work in Hong Kong.
Yeah, good class. Used to train in London with a lot of the people that coach me now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh, okay, sick. Yeah. It's, you know what it's like in jiu-jitsu. It's a very small
He was at Titan with Brad and stuff.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's cool. I was chatting to him for a little bit, but we
really nice guy. And like the class was good. Really good.
But it was just longer than what I'm used to, right?
Yeah.
So you obviously got absolutely toasted. I looked round and then he said, oh, is he injured? And I said, oh, no, we were up all night. And I just said that. And he looked around to me and went, oh, you just came in from your flight? And I went, yeah. We just came in from the flight.
I've been here for like 3 days at this point.
We'd fully acclimated.
Yeah.
We'd had gym sessions. We'd had good recovery days.
Yeah.
We had saunas.
Yep.
Oh
my God. Sauna gate. It was worse in Tokyo. I haven't even told you about this.
Oh, really?
Because you can't have tattoos, right?
Oh, yeah. I did think how strict they'd be. Because I know sometimes it's a little bit progressive.
Do you know how many Asian penises I've seen this holiday?
Way more than you ever need to.
Hundreds of Asian penises.
Of every age. Age is crazy. The age range on Asian Todger is wild.
Hundreds of Asian penises. They have a real...
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, they want you naked. And I'm like, no, man, I'm more comfortable in my pants. And I'm not even someone that's uncomfortable naked. I've been painted.
If you're saying this, it speaks volumes to the culture shock. Because that is crazy coming from you.
I've literally sat and had people draw me naked. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to get my cock out. But when I'm being forced, I'll get my cock out on my own accord. Do you know what I mean? When I'm ready, I'll get my cock out. We get into the...
Such a sour taste to get cock out on. It's not spoken about enough. Everyone's like, yeah, ain't that deep. I'm like, no. It's such a sour taste to get naked.
It's not the cock out. It's what it represents.
It's the principle
you ain't
of it.
stripping me. There's no way.
Oh, that's funny.
We kept getting into the is it onsen? I suppose onsen is Japanese, but the equivalent of the spa, hot tub, sauna, again state of the art facilities, cold tub, and we go to get into the hot tub, and the guy's saying no, shoot. I'm like, oh, you want my penis out? So I was just like, I'm not doing it. I kind of just was like, language barrier, I'm getting in. I went to get in the cold one. He was like, no, you have to get in there naked. I went, there's no way, brother. You are not seeing me at my lowest form.
But the thing is,
I'm with my friends as well. I'm like, this is not an accurate representation, all right? It's cold in here.
What people don't realise is this wasn't, this is a funny little moment and there's a miscommunication and they want they want cock out, and you're just sitting there with your mates chilling for the afternoon, trying to have a sauna really, and trying to just have a nice recovery day and be a bit relaxed and kind of take in the week. And this geezer is incessantly hanging over us and just pointed aggressively I'm not joking, 30 seconds, but we're trying to kind of say, listen, mate, we're chilling with the shorts on. I appreciate the policy. We're in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's not a
public.
Yeah, it isn't a specific onsen either.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I will say, right? It's not I'm going out my way to this. It's a hotel, a multinational hotel, of which the hub of this weekend is fully international people in the UFC. Regardless, the fella with the face tattoos from Sea Kickboxing, lovely bloke, loved the cock out policy.
Yeah, he was cutting weight with his dick out.
Yeah, listening to Fetty Wap.
Yeah, on a JBL speaker.
You know what? He was actually a really nice bloke.
Yeah, he is.
Because even when he was cutting weight, he was really nice to pretty much everyone I saw him have an encounter with, and it didn't look like he was having an easy cut either. No. It looked like he was flipping shit in some.
As well.
You'd never seen that before, had you?
Not really. No, like.
I knew that was a thing, and you know what's funny? Before we actually went out, I remember thinking, I've heard people say that, but I wonder if I've actually witnessed that. I'm trying to think if I had, because I've seen a lot of weight cuts now. You just go in the sauna and then you can see 3 or 4 different teams. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. In just a standard hotel flipping sauna or whatnot. And you know how many saunas we would have throughout a week of a hotel visit?
Yeah, as many as humanly possible.
Mate, especially when it's 24/7 on a Thursday and they do the weight cut.
Yeah,
I went in and had one at 2:30.
Yeah.
I saw Brian Ortega's weight cut. I know we're jumping about here, but oh my goodness, there were so many things that happened on this trip. Being a part of Brian Ortega's weight cut and sparking the fuse on the radiator. Have I told you the full story?
Briefly, but run it, because I missed this. I was
you weren't here for
dead
this.
To the world, I think.
So, for some context, Lon goes into the fighters' room. So there are 2 fighters' rooms in a UFC fight week, and they're always in the hotel. And it's basically just a meeting room usually, which is completely cleared out and has some mats in it. Sometimes we'll have a bike, sometimes we'll have a rower, sometimes nothing. It could just be mats. Essentially, you have the blue corner and the red corner, and all blue fighters, of course, can use one, and the red fighters can use the other, and that's just pretty much the standard rule. Some people go to local gyms, some people don't use it at all, and they'll do it in a room or outside or whatever, but most times people just use that recreationally. The point of telling you this is because Brian Ortega firstly tried to just say, no, I'm the only one using this and I'm the only one cutting weight in this room, of which it is a big room, at least big enough for 3 people to cut weight in. Be a bit of a push, be a bit crammed, but 3 people at a push, right? Yeah. And he said, no one's coming in. Eventually, they go in and they start cutting weight.
12 fights on the card.
His teammate then is on the bike in a sweatsuit singing, and I walked in and just thought, oh, this is a fella helping Brian out. But I was confused as to why he didn't let Lon use the bike, because he knew he wanted it.
He weren't fighting either.
And no, so let me explain the full thing, right? He knew he wanted the bike because they were talking about it. They was like, right, we'll go get one from the gym or whatnot. So they had to go all the way up to the gym, bring down a big equipment bike, and you know how heavy and flipping cumbersome those things are.
Robust.
Drag it in, and then he kind of just 10 minutes later, he just like bounces off and he's sitting down. He's just like sipping some water, going on his phone. I was just thinking, what the hell? No. They all thought he was fighting.
No decorum.
Just not great form. Regardless, I watched him.
Drop me a nice tea, please.
Yeah, sorry. I watched him in that room for a couple hours by myself, of which he was in there beforehand. And then I saw him that same night at 2:30 when I went and had a shower in the sauna. In the sauna, cutting weight with blankets and just standard heat sauna to blankets. And that was at 2:30, and I spoke to his manager after, and I said, did you just go straight through? And he went, yeah, we just cut straight through. So they started at probably about 3 p.m, and then they just went the whole way through, day and night, all the way up to weigh-ins.
That's rough.
And it was wild to watch, and hearing about how I think he felt funny or he fell, so he had something like a rehydration or a salad or something, and he like messed up his stomach, went to hospital. It was a whole crazy thing. But one thing I will say, his manager that I met and
Who's
one
his
of his
manager?
team.
Tiki Ghostin?
No, that may be. I can't remember. Maybe it's not his manager. He's got so many different roles. He's called Jason. He owns one
Korean
of the.
guy.
Yeah. He owns one of the striking. He goes to us in the. I'll tell the story. I don't care. It's not that deep, but we're just chatting in the sauna. Really nice fella actually, to be honest. But it was just funny. We're all sitting there in the sauna, sweating it out. I'm with Lou, loves saunas notoriously. And then it was myself and...
I was there.
Were you there as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I was thinking there was a lot of person with you.
Yeah, it was me.
Sorry, there's a lot of people a lot of different times. But then when he said, oh yeah, I just managed a couple of people, so I was in London. Yeah. And I said, oh, who was it? And he went, I don't, you like said, I was like, you can't hit me with that. I'm going to prod you. I don't really care who it is. I was like, okay, but who? It's like, oh, it's Usher. I was thinking, how do I respond to that?
Yeah. I think I said, come closer. That might be Neo. But,
That is Neo.
Yeah.
Usher's only got 400 flipping major songs. I may go Mini Coke.
Mini Coke. Yeah, Usher's a big name drop in the sauna from Korean Steve. A big name drop. Pick that one up. Yeah, pick that one up. Cock out, please, Steve.
That's why I was just laughing so much. I was thinking, we've had so many third-party sauna talks.
Yeah.
All the way back to when we're, flipping 16, 17 in the sauna. Massive Eastern European fella. 2-litre Evian turns to us and says, can I pour on here? Me and Frank look at each other. What are we going to say to
I'm
this
not going to
geezer?
say no.
No,
I'm not going to say no.
I'm just going to nod and go, all right, mate, crack on. Like, do what you need to do. Yeah. I was super happy he asked, but yeah, that was just a formality. Anyway, tips the entire 2-litre on the coals and just the heat that smacked me in the face on a 5-second lag.
You feel it like after. Yeah,
that was brutal. Cheers, man.
Felt like I was burning my skin off.
I like those glasses, they're good.
Yeah, cool, right?
Where did we get back to recently? We flipping jumped about all over with these.
Yeah.
We went Korean Steve. That's because we went to the saunas with the cock out geezer.
Yeah.
Genuinely, number wise, how many?
Over 100.
100%.
No, because Tokyo as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. So explain the.
Yeah, I think we should go chronological though.
Okay.
We should probably speak about the fight.
Yeah, let's go back to fight week.
We'll speak about Asian cocks, don't worry.
Yeah, let's get back to fight week. Let's get back to the fight. So, we had the weigh-in days. We had the photos. We had
weight cut smooth as well.
Brian Ortega, the plug.
Pluggate.
I need to speak about Pluggate. So regardless, he's in this room with what they'd call a space heater, what I'd call a radiator.
Space heater.
And they are getting it hot. They are getting towels. They're getting sweatsuits. They're getting bikes. And he's getting a pump on. He's getting a sweat on. And he's getting hot. Anyway, I'm leaving the room because Lon's finished in here and everyone's left. And I'm just looking around for my sliders. I would not like to lose my sliders.
No,
I was super grateful for this gift from Nathaniel because the reason why these sliders are rare and you don't see them as much is because a lot of the equipment they give to all the team and all the fighters, they don't do that with the sliders. They only give it to the fighters. Yeah. So there's a lot less sliders in circulation. Regardless, I thought I'd lost mine. So I'm looking around. I've lost my glasses. It was literally like that because I got all my camera gear. I've lost my glasses. And as I do that, I graze, not even nail, just graze the plug. And I just saw his mate's face. And it just lit up. And I looked at him and then looked down. And there was like a mini smoke cloud. And there was just a melted plug and just a fuse. And I kind of just picked it up. And it was just a melted mess. And it had exploded, the whole thing. The plug and the actual fuse of the cable. And I just looked and... Sorry, mate.
Yeah, there's nothing else I can really hit you with. And I feel like he was at that point where he was so deep in the cut, he was just like...
Sorry, mate.
I've not got energy for this, you know what I mean?
What am I going to say? Sorry, mate. Apologies for that one. I'll go try and get you a new one.
A new space heater.
Go to get him a new space heater. Go into the back room and they go, you shouldn't really be using those. And I thought, not only have I messed up his weight cut, potentially, I knew that I hadn't. I knew they'd work around. I knew it wasn't that deep, and I'd just say it for effect. But not only had I thrown a spanner in the works, but I've now grassed them up for the pleasure of it. So
Why can't you use a space heater?
I imagine, to be honest, for reasons like that.
Yeah.
That's why they use the heater blankets and things like that. They give it to you. Yeah. I don't know if they had it available at China. They did in Macau, but they give you the heat suits that you can lay in, the heated blankets, and they'll also give you an option of the tent, the heat tent.
Yeah.
I don't know what the options were.
What, like the little pod sauna?
The pod saunas.
I don't like those.
And they are the options that they give you. So they give you a lot of choice as well, right?
Yeah.
And I believe, I could be making it up completely, he could have just been doing it with Taz, but I believe he had the one in the back room. But I just couldn't believe he then went 5 rounds. I couldn't believe how tough he is.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
To literally be on death's door, and the next day he went 5 rounds.
Because he went to hospital, then they gave him an IV, then he retook the fight at lightweight.
When's the last time we've heard that?
Yeah, they let him IV.
What else happened on that fight week that stands out? I feel like there's so many things out.
Hitting the gym with Marab.
That was quite interesting, right? Because, recap people on that.
That was on fight day. So bear in mind, on fight day, I got there pretty early. I wanted to see Lon, I wanted to crack on with a few bits. Selfishly, I wanted to attack the breakfast buffet.
Yeah, that got seen too.
Yeah, that got seen too. So I got there early, and like, for some context, the Asian fans are super respectful, but they are very committed to seeing the fighters.
Oh yeah.
So this young Chinese guy had been there all day. From 7, I got there. He's wearing a UFC shirt, and he's wearing the Marab UFC Georgia custom fight shorts.
Yeah.
So he's clearly a hardcore.
They look cool, by the way.
They are very cool.
Yeah.
They look better on Marab when he's in a title fight, as opposed to sort of a 16-year-old Chinese kid. But they are very cool shorts, good customs. So we're in the gym, and Marab's there, and people are like kind of asking him for photos. Someone's like, "Oh, can you strangle me on camera?" He's like, "No, not right now." And we just kind of asserted ourselves above that. I was just like, I am a fanboy, but I was just like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" He's like, "Oh, good." I actually have met him before when Lon fought in Contender Series, very, very briefly. He definitely doesn't remember me. But then I've seen Chinese kid in Marab shorts come up. He's obviously losing his shit. He's then texting on his phone, then just an immersion of these Chinese fans come in. Bear in mind, Marab's on a hip abductor machine, so he's full legs akimbo. He's literally here, and the guy's trying to take a selfie with him. He's like, "Brother, not now, not now." And he's like doing his reps, and he takes selfies, and we're kind of like,
worst spot to get.
yeah.
What is it when someone gets on your stream?
Stream snipes, yeah.
Worst spot.
Stream snipe, legs akimbo.
Worst spot to get stream sniped.
Like,
On the hip abductors.
Not on the hip abductor. And we were kind of acting important. I was like, "I can tell them to leave if you want," and then they did leave.
That was a genuine...
Yeah, because he was trying to just get a workout in before.
Yeah, that was genuine, because the truth of it is, what you realise when you go to China is the fan base is incredible, but it will spread like wildfire in regards to getting photos and signatures, which, by the way, is a blessing. And we do always remind Lon of that, and anyone that happens to be honest, because it happens to us now as well. But secondly, it can... I don't think people realise how intense that gets, because people are running, they're grabbing, they're like tapping your shoulder, and they're not trying to be rude and invasive, but everyone's doing it, and they're trying to do it the next bit more.
Yeah.
And you realise all of a sudden... It's like...
You're about 30 people.
Yeah, it's like koi fish in the pond.
Yeah, legit.
And you're dropping in a comic magazine. Yeah. And it's a lot of energy, more so than anything. So it is important for anyone that's around it, and that's kind of...
Especially the fighters
on the inside, if you like. If you think of it like that, that's how I think of it. It's important to sort of help out if you can. Even just to sort of... Just say,
chill.
Do you know what I mean? It takes like a third party sometimes.
You realise they are just normal people, but they're just very good at what they do. Yeah.
Because they don't want to be the people either. You realise when you meet a lot of these guys is they don't want to be the person that gives someone a bad impression of them for the first time. Because they may only ever get one impression of this person that could be their hero. So they'll, for the most part, people always want that interaction to be good. But there's only so much you can do when your legs are gimbal, like you say, on the abductors and someone's running over, selfie, and then there's 30 people. Yeah. And you realise as well just the intensity that comes with. And the fan base in China is flipping... so cool. Now we've got the CEO of the Chinese fan base.
Yeah, we've got him on deck. I'll read his message out.
Read his message out, that'll be good.
So, for context, he is a random fan. Well, I say random, he's a fan, huge fan of Lon, that has started the Chinese fan club.
The Cute Dragons.
yeah.
I'm going to call them the Cute Dragons, is what I'm
So I'll read this out.
tagging it.
I'll read this out briefly.
He is CEO of the Cute Dragon fan base. China side.
I'll read this out. So he put, I'm a devoted fan of Lon Kavanagh from China. Can I kindly ask you to pass this message along to him? It's truly an honour to be a supporter of the UFC Shanghai face-off. I was the one cheering loudly for him. I even had a chance to take a photo of him. I would love to officially organise his fan base here in China. I want to make it clear there are no commercial intentions involved. I simply wish to serve as the lead fan organiser for Lon Kavanagh in China because I genuinely admire him. This way, next time he comes to China, we can all gather together to watch his fights and support him. I really hope he notices my efforts. It would mean so much to me to receive his recognition of approval to establish the official fan club of a real home for his supporters here in China. Thank you so much for your help in forwarding this. It would make all my efforts worth it. Heartfelt.
What a phenomenal paragraph.
Yeah.
Phenomenal paragraph.
Laid it out
To within an inch of its life, and also attached the photos as well. And the reason why he got the gig as CEO of the Cute Dragons China side, which by the way is a massive responsibility.
Yeah, big role.
No, genuinely.
Yeah, you got to be organised.
This is a huge responsibility. We've been curating his Chinese look, on what he looks like to the market of China, at least verbally, for a long time now. And this is a big step in the Chinese drive. So shout out to Lee, firstly. Second of all, he was who he said he was. He gave you receipts. He said, I'm the fan that was shouting at the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
I vividly remember the fan shouting at the weigh-ins because of the video. And I just remember because it was piercing through everything. I do actually remember the photo that was taken of him as well. So, yeah, you got to...
That's Lee.
The funniest thing about it is he writes his name, how he says it, with a W, and he writes it every time that he says his name. So much so that I actually think he's just right. I believe him, weirdly, over Lon itself. I feel like there could be a miscommunication on Lon's side.
The English translation.
He spelt that wrong. I feel like when he says Lon Kavanagh, I actually just kind of think it's a W from now on.
Yeah. Big W. Big W.
Let's go into the...
So that was fight day. Chilling with Merab.
Again,
on that, I'm a huge fan of the sport. It's the reason I do everything I do. I love this sport. And I try not to fanboy when I meet these people because you do realise they're real people. And people are asking him to choke him, photos while his legs are akimbo. But what I will say, Merab, was doing squats where my bench was. And my creative brain was like, oh, this would be such a good TikTok. This guy's squatting in front of my bench. Who the fuck does he think he is? Crop up, and it's like Merab. But I was like, no, be cool.
Yeah,
like,
you got to.
Yeah, but missed opportunity. But
the difficult thing with that is actually, it's funny you said that because same with me, right? Is from the get, I didn't actually know any of these people, so I actually never even had the opportunity to sort of look at these names and think, oh, it's crazy I'm meeting X, Y, and Z, because I only came into the sport recently, so I didn't really know anyone like that anyway. And it's such a difficult line between getting things which add value or are funny or would be good for the community or your fan base and giving insight, but also not being too invasive and not doing something without someone's permission or going above and beyond. And it's a difficult line to sort of tread. I know I've always gone just more so the other way just because it's easy, but I do always think, oh, there's so much more I could probably push. But
you never want to push too much. If you push more, you'll probably get less. You know, you got to try and just, especially when someone's like, you can see that he's training, and he went like from like watching him lift. When he's training.
Yeah, he's dialed in.
Yeah, he's a fucking world champion. You know, he was like doing circuits, pressing, curling. Loads of reps, not fucking around on his phone.
Nothing with... Exactly how I would imagine Merab Dvalishvili to go into a weights room and work out. And honestly, one of my favourite ways to do it these days.
Same, but I just am a doom scroller. I don't like lifting weights.
Oh, you go on the phone, do you?
Yeah, massively.
That's the worst habit of people in the gym. you don't realise how much time it takes out of the workout
You're
until
leaving
you...
gains on the table.
You know what it is? It's just an in-between a set. Sometimes could be
Adds up.
60 seconds, right, that you should recover. And you should get back into the next set. And you realise how quick workouts can be when you do that, or 90 seconds or 2 minutes.
You can
And
fly
sometimes
for a workout.
when every set becomes 5 minutes on a scroll,
Yeah, you're doing a 3-hour workout.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen some people that are...
People get pressed about it. I think like if you want to do that. You know, obviously like if you're not affecting other people's time, it's kind of up to the individual.
Don't do it on one piece of equipment. That is
Yeah. Let people jump in if the gym's
jarring.
busy. Yeah,
Someone's being obsessive on equipment and they're training like that.
That's different. Yeah,
There's etiquette to this game, boy. You better move yourself along.
that's different. But yeah, that was fight day.
Yeah.
Then obviously we get to the arena. And bear in mind, people might not know this. I didn't know this before going. China is hot. Shanghai is hot, like near 40-degree heat. So we get to the arena maybe 2 fights before long.
True, it was hot.
Can't find his girlfriend, so we're like stressing outside, sweating. We've got the ticket. She needs to come in with us. She's like, I'm at this bus stop. I'm like, we're at this bus stop.
Yeah.
We open up Google Maps, stress. Lon's in 2 fights. At one point, I was like, fuck it, I've got Fight Pass, we'll stream it out here. I'm just like, what are we even talking about?
Is that what you said?
Like, that was suggested. Or it was like, worst case scenario, we'll just watch it on our phone out here. I'm like, shut up. Let's get in there. 1 fight before his. And, like, selfishly, I wish my mates played cricket. Well, I do and I don't because I wouldn't have these opportunities. But I do hate anyone.
We'd probably go to Australia or something. It would be pretty sick.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, maybe they should get into cricket.
Lon's not built for cricket. Anyone that I'm closely tied to, like watching them fight is the worst. When they're like winning the fight and it's like they've won, it's great, obviously. But during or the fights before is where the nerves start to linger. But it just is what it is. This is the life we chose. And then obviously the fight starts and we're like, oh wow, this is going well. Round 1, even his girlfriend who doesn't train was like, oh, he's really like landing good stuff. I'm like, yeah, he is.
He's landing that 1-2 combination that
Yeah,
they've been drilling all camp. He's like,
hitting him with everything.
you're right, Layla. He actually is.
And even like seeing the behind the scenes of what they're drilling, the striking and the grappling, everything's working. I'm like, oh, this is pretty ideal. Even into round 2, everything's working. I'm like, oh, maybe getting a little bit tired. I mean, like you are in the second round of a fight. Like, you'll recover. You're allowed to be tired. And then, just a brief lapse of concentration, and it's the game we play, you know. You highest highs and lowest lows, you know. You get caught, and it just is what it is, really.
Yeah, it's such an interesting loss. I've thought about it on so many different levels because, firstly, the reaction of people online was quite fascinating to me. Was quite fascinating. I knew he had support. I knew people rallied behind him. I knew people liked watching him fight. But seeing him take a loss was fascinating to then read the fan engagement and the comment sections through a lot of different mediums of media, which is always important, right?
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of different audiences in any sport, let alone this one, where they can
I feel like the
be very
TikTok
contrasting.
community is very different to the Twitter community, for example.
100%. 100%, right? And even if it's on the same platforms, but just what outlet is it, and what sort of conversations do people usually have around that? And I found the feedback, firstly, was crazy. Just people being very supportive and people understanding the fact that, sure, there's things to improve and sure, there was mistakes that are made, but you can very evidently see a very skilled, capable fighter that is only going to go away and make adjustments to put him on the path to then become a champion. It didn't really, in a weird way, feel like a ton of stock lost, because it really did feel like that case where, now if he was 34 and this was his last run at the belt and he'd gone and lost that fight, this would be a very different conversation. Sure. But at 26, couple of fights into the UFC, going into the top 15 for his first fight, having a really good performance, showing a lot of things that he's been working on, that he knows that he can execute anywhere on the big stage against someone who's very, very credible and has only fought the best.
Literally only fought the best.
You can't help but think this is probably going to be a really good lesson to go off down the line.
Yeah.
Because in an ideal world, do you ever want to get knocked out? Of course you don't in a fight. You ideally never want to lose. You don't even want to get hit.
Yeah.
But in this game of probabilities, the probabilities are to go your entire career when you get into the UFC at 25 and not lose is going to be pretty small.
But the law of averages just are against
you. Of
you.
course, right? But what you can do from that when you're someone like him is you can go away and then essentially just adapt off of that. Right, okay, why did this happen? What can I improve? Also, what can I keep the same? A lot of that, he's not going to tear up the script.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you become a bad fighter overnight because you lost. And all of that work in the camp and all of the combinations that were drilled, boom, goes over to the next camp.
That's in the vault.
You don't lose those skills, and that's something a lot of people sometimes forget is these skills accumulate when you want them to, and when you're skilled like him who can integrate them, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't a skill issue. It was just a brief lapse of concentration. And you pay the price, you know, like if it was a game of football and you was a defender, stood in the wrong position and they went through and scored, you'd be like, oh, sorry guys, I fucked up. We just happen to be in a sport where the consequences are so fucking dire that if you do fuck up, you pay, you know? And it makes you realise, look, the machine is bigger than your feelings. For example, like when they're replaying it slow-mo on the big screen, like there's a part of me like, come on, man, his girlfriend's here. I'm like, I don't want to see it again. No, what are you doing, guys?
I'm on Twitter, people repost them like that.
Yeah, it's just the game, and you know he capitalised. Yeah. You have to kind of say, well done.
No, 100%.
Because he was getting fucked up.
Yeah, 100%.
He was getting fucked up. He's probably gone back to his change room after that, thinking.
He said that to him.
Thank fuck for that.
Yeah, his team said that to him. But no, 100%.
Pulled that one out my arse.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why the top 15 is there. That's why experience is there. And that's the case of being well conditioned, staying in a fight, and getting beaten up until you get one opportunity.
Yeah.
Because when you go into the top 15 of the most skilled weight classes, like a flyweight, where it's some of the most skilled fighters, you can't afford to make any real lapses of concentration really against the very best because they can capitalise. So he just got to learn a very harsh lesson sooner rather than later. And the question you now ask is he someone that is going to shy away from the challenge of overcoming that? If you know him, you'd know that wouldn't be the case, right?
It's just not an option.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
So it kind of then turns into this question of what more are you going to do? You learn from it. Is it going to hinder you moving forward as much as you let it?
And immediately after as well, speaking to him, obviously there's nothing you can say that he's going to be like, oh yeah, actually I'm over it now.
Yeah.
You have to let it pass. But it was full accountability straight away. Fucked up, got a bit tired, dropped my hands, he capitalised. Not losing again. Yeah. My fault, completely my fault. I'm really sorry. I'm fucking apologising to me. Don't owe me nothing.
Yeah.
You're the one getting in there. You know what I mean? I'm just here for support. Don't owe me shit. Like,
every now and again, I do like to entertain him and go, no, it's all right.
I'll let you off this time.
I give him a couple at the start when I'm not feeling as brave, but when it goes a couple of days after, I go, you know what? I've been fucking waiting for that. Actually, yeah, no, you're right. I'll have
you
one
haven't
of those.
apologised at once.
Yeah, no, I'll take that one actually, because you are right. It was a flipping schlep on the plane over, and I only managed to squeeze a premium economy twice. I had a touch. 3 seats on the way home on a packed flight. I had a flipping
sleepy bye-bye.
Yeah, melatonin, and I just kipped on the 3-seater. But going back to him, you're 100% right. That's a good point to bring up. 100% accountability. Didn't look anywhere else. Wouldn't even think to.
No.
And that is important. It's important to obsess over every level. Okay, what could I improve on? What was good? And you can't do it too much because you'll go crazy. But it is important to look over events and think, what can I improve? So it seemed like he had a good warm-up. He had a good camp. There was no glaring issues. Like in regards to his striking defensively, he knows the mistakes he's made, and he knows how he's gonna. I was talking to Colin after. I was talking to the coaches after. I was like, right, I was asking them a little bit more, and I said about that particular. Okay, so what is there to do? Like, how do you go about that? And it's like, you just keep your hands up. There's not really much more to that. Like that is.
A wise man once said.
That is kind of it. It took me 2 days before I got confident enough to drop the Mr. Inbound on him. I really wanted to hit him with that on the. Not on the day. I didn't want to be like, get your hands up. I just thought this could crack a smile.
Yeah. You got to make light of a bad situation. I uploaded a video about 4 weeks before he fighted, giving MMA fighters unsolicited advice, part 1. And I was like, when you throw that jab, mate, don't drop that hand. This is obviously before the fight. And oh my God, the comments were ruthless.
Really?
Yeah, I deleted the post.
No way.
Yeah, I deleted it. I was like, I'm not trying to see
Oh, what,
this.
because they went back on it?
They went back on it, and it's just
okay.
like still shots of lying unconscious, or this age well, he's this, he's that. I'm like, I don't actually want to entertain this right now. Yeah, so I just deleted the post.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I deleted it completely. Funny video, not in reflection, but like at the time, I thought it was quite funny.
You know what it is? I've had a few like that, not quite to that extent in regards to the storyline of that, but when people have gone back on older posts and written things, and to be honest, I think about it and then I just do something else and I just forgot about it and move on to the next thing. But
yeah,
they
it's
are
different when you're so closely tied to
someone,
you know what I mean?
100%. But
I was like, I just don't want to see this.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
This negativity.
they are ruthless when they're they don't mess about.
Ruthless.
But also, from my perspective, when I see these as well, it's just I'm so good at just seeing MMA fans as complete, not inhuman, but a fan of any sport. I don't see that as a motive human being that I'm sitting down to have a normal conversation with, or I care for their opinions. Or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just see the complete transactionary.
You're essentially a bot to me.
A bot of a game, of a simulation, which is a football fan of a football team, or an MMA fan of MMA, right? Which is interesting because there's not really teams as such, so you can support any fighter and every fighter, and there's not really anything opposing. So I just see these things and I just think, this is
sad.
This is the game. This is the game. It just is the game of all sports, though.
It's it's the day and age we live in of people just being armchair experts. You know, it's just different when people are getting punched in the face. You know, it does change.
You got to think about it. It's always been the difference is between now and 100 years ago is people have less friction to voice a message. 100 years ago, you'd have had to flip and get your name in the paper.
Write Mike Tyson a letter.
Saying, 100%.
Buster Douglas.
Or write him a letter, but to do it publicly, you would have to get yourself in the paper, of which there were so many barriers to entry.
Yeah. And you ain't showing your face, do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. So now it's just very, very simple to do. So it just happens at such an alarming rate. Yeah. You have to get so good now in today's world at being an athlete, but also being someone who is great at blocking out media noise, good and bad.
Which he is.
And there's not many people better at it than him. That's what I was about to say.
Which he is. Yeah, it's part of it. You know, you put yourself in such a vulnerable position. Obviously, I've never fought in the UFC or anywhere near that stage, but it's such a vulnerable position.
It's a lot of eyes.
A lot of eyes.
A lot of people don't really realise how much goes into the build-up and how much fight week makes it feel like a big promotion, because
I feel it. And I'm fucking like two beers deep in the crowd.
Yeah, 100%. Because what a lot of people aren't ever gonna get exposure to is firstly just that process of an amateur show, right? We spoke about the other day. You have to go back to the grassroots. So how many amateur shows have we been together where we're in the back room of some random place?
Some dingy strip club casino on a Sunday in Rochester, Kent.
And that is...
Shout out Bloodline Fight Series.
I just remember thinking, this is the roguest warm-up room with a stripper pole I've ever seen.
And your opponents are just like, you're just walking past each other thinking, we're going to have a full-blown fist fight later.
You're just watching the warm-up, everything they've drilled for the last 4 weeks. They'll probably just be doing it now if they've been doing any preparation at all. And then the next week, you're boom, in Macau in the lights. But
7-star hotels.
It starts on the Tuesday. So it builds up to this crescendo, and everyone is getting there pretty much on the Tuesday, latest Wednesday. So all the fighters, all the media, everyone around that fight week is just feeling a slow build of tension and energy. Because at the start of the week, little to no fans. Wednesday, there'll be a couple scattered. Thursday, depending on where you are, there'll be more. Like China, there's always more throughout earlier in the week. And then it gets to Friday, Saturday, boom,
Bear in mind,
explosion
it's a
of
double
fans.
whammy weekend as well. Road to UFC Friday, UFC Saturday. Yeah. So it's like double bubble. But it's cool. It's cool. And if there's anyone that's built for blocking out social media noise and just cracking on with the task at hand, it's definitely Lon, you know, that he's just gonna. And this is not what losing makes you realise, but fighting in general, obviously it's such a big thing, and everyone's next fight is the biggest thing in the world to them, whether you're fighting in a casino or you're in fucking Shanghai, you know. But win, lose, draw, split decision, life goes on.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not great if you lose and there's such high stakes, but the world isn't going to end.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, your friends are still your friends.
Yeah.
Your family is still there. No one's died. You just lost the competition.
Yeah. And it feels like everything at the time,
feels like
of
a
course,
death.
because of everything that's invested as well.
It feels like a death a little bit, because there's denial, there's grief, there's acceptance, and then further along down the line of a loss, there's sort of acceptance and somewhat even fond memories.
Yeah.
You know, it's super weird. It's such a weird thing.
And you have to think, we come back from the arena, of which, even just being in the arena and meeting that kid that collared me when we were in there, that was cool. That's always cool, to be somewhere like Shanghai and someone to say, oh,
I've seen your video.
yeah, that's always cool. So always shout out to
the
people
international casuals.
Yeah, I always like it when people do that. That's just,
of course,
that's pretty surreal. But also, we get back from there, and then we get to the hotel, and you couldn't really tell the difference if Lon had won or lost. If you didn't see the result, you didn't really know the difference, right? There was still a lot of people crowding him, coming up to him, getting photos, getting their pictures of him signing. And I thought about this yesterday. Being out in China a couple of times now, there is just a different love for it around with the fan base.
Love for the game.
I can imagine Japan similar in a way, listening to people speak about Japan and the fight culture, but just seeing China firsthand, there's just this love for sort of pride and honour, and not necessarily winning, but the intention of winning or the intention of fighting honourably, and doing so just kind of representing China pretty well. And being how Lon is as well, he's just very respectful, and obviously he's a sick fighter to watch, so he's easy to root for, but they do just very much love that kind of honour that he brings as well. And also it just fits the culture just really well.
He don't get too up with the highs, too down with the lows.
No.
He really doesn't.
He'll hit that knockout on the Dana Whites and then just come back and be like, was that a bit gay? Spinning
that backflip that I landed. Yeah, I was like, you wouldn't catch me doing it, but that's you, bro.
Tighty Whitey's in the backflip.
Yeah, express yourself, you know.
Yeah, super expressive. That's what I would say to him.
Brother stoic, you know. He not too high with the highs, too low with the lows. Yeah. He hasn't changed since he's found this new.
It's happening though. It's definitely happening.
Massively.
Yeah, it's really happening.
Massively. He's getting recognised in Japan from fans.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he?
A good handful of time.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because that's what we've always said, right? That's always been the case. But being with obviously what I do, I've always got my finger on the pulse of people's conversations, especially when it's people I know, and I always know how they're received or the conversation around them or what they're creating or how people engage. I just always know the details to things like that, and to see the shift of it the last 24 months is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I look back at some of my first photos on the account, right, and it's of my camera. It's quite funny. It's of my old camera that I've got completely out of shot, so it's like it's Lon's chin or like my chin and then hit like top of his head.
Yeah.
And it's got no audio on it as well. And it was when he split his lip. I think it was.
He was a white belt in photography.
Oh my goodness, the whitest belt. And no one knew who that was. Like no one was commenting if it was on my GBTV or if I posted on my TikTok.
Very rare.
Very rare. Like people didn't know him. And then he got that knockout in Cage Warriors, and then people would kind of in the know would be like, "Oh, has anyone seen that?"
People would be like, "Excuse me, are you Lon Kavanagh?"
Yeah, 100%.
Like, oh my god, it's him. Do you know what I mean? I've seen that a couple of times in person.
And then it just over the last couple of years, it was
Contender Series was a mad one.
Yeah.
Doubled.
I went there for that.
No, but like in terms of like profile, doubled his Instagram literally overnight.
Really?
Yeah, which is mad.
Because that was one thing I was looking at today. I was looking at Alfie's account and I just thought, it's crazy that you can have the PFL World Champion and you got 2,000 followers from that.
Yeah, I've nearly got more followers than him and I literally drink white monsters.
2,000?
Yeah.
And he's got, I was thinking it today when I was looking at his profile.
As well.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's got a fun style you can get behind. He's
He's a
local.
wacky character.
Yeah, he's local London lad. He's quite cheeky. He's got
good looking,
funny sound bites. Yeah, he's good looking.
Extremely handsome.
Got good axe kicks. Like, very marketable.
Yeah.
Very marketable geezer. But yeah, just it's crazy the disparity in.
It's the machine.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people they get to a certain extent, but it's all about really when you're in the UFC. Of course, everyone wants to be champion, and that should be your goal for the most part. But also, there's this aspect of you want to be the biggest thing of that machine, whatever that machine looks like, however that goes.
Oh man, yeah, we watched UFC last night in France, and they do a contender series bit.
Oh, nice.
I didn't catch it on camera, and he's like, "Oh look, it's me," and then it's like a 30-second bit of him talking. He's like, "Oh, it's me again," and it's like the whole documentary did. He stood there like at his dad's grave, real cool. He's like, "Oh, it's me again." I'm like, "That's you, bro." Yes,
that's sick.
I didn't. It's cool, right? I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool."
I haven't seen that.
No, I think it's coming out soon.
Yeah, they've been releasing them slowly on the YouTube. So right, let's recap. We go post fight, and then we go rooftop bar.
Yep. I was overdue a rooftop bar from Hong Kong.
Oh my goodness. Paint the picture.
For Hong Kong?
Hong Kong rooftop.
We got to Hong Kong, well, my fault again. I think I've got mild narcolepsy. Whenever I drink, I could sleep for 18 hours. That's not even an exaggeration or hyperbole, if you will. I will sleep for 18 hours. So we wake up late, go into Hong Kong, eating, chilling, having a great time, and I'm promised this rooftop bar. We get up. Dingy lift, thought it was going to break on the way
up.
Of
which you've been saying rooftop bar on repeat for the last 4 hours. This wasn't just like, oh, should we go to a rooftop bar? This was, I want to go to a rooftop bar. So much it became a soundbite bit of when anyone asked, it was just rooftop bar.
Rooftop bar.
Yeah.
We get there, it's not a rooftop, it's indoors, and it stinks of cigarettes and sweaty backpackers. The night fell on its head. I'm like, right, let's call it. So, yeah, there was darts as well. We had darts.
Plastic ones.
Plastic darts and smoking darts was not my idea of a good time. So we called it a day. Got in at 3. Had to leave for the airport at 5. I was like, I'm staying up. There's no way.
Just a quick one. I need to jump in quickly. Just because you said darts and it made me think of Australians. You know, I'm on Smoko.
Yeah.
I learned that Smoko is, I think it's lunch break. I think it's like a lunch break.
It's a smoke break, I think.
Oh, that makes sense now you say it. But I thought it was like a lunch break because he said, I heard another lyric the other day of just some random person. They said, I'm on Smoko, so I'm going up to get a sandwich or something. So I thought, oh, is it lunch break?
Yeah, I thought it was a smoke break, or maybe both.
Sorry, that was a random. Go on.
Yeah, no, I hear it. Yeah, we promised a rooftop bar, didn't deliver. But Shanghai, however, did deliver. Lon was like, I'm up for going out. I was like, I'm up for going out. Because it's important, right? Although you didn't get the result you wanted, you have to sometimes, to drop a good quote, sometimes you're stood too near to the trees to see the forest. Regardless, win, lose or draw, I have been pretty much living with him before he was in Cage Warriors. I remember the first time we all went to Thailand and we were all broke at the end of the trip and we're like struggling for money. Oh, should we go there? We can't afford it. Fast forward 3.5 years, we're now in UFC Shanghai in a rooftop bar after you've just fought for the second time in front of your Chinese fan base.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's important sometimes to take a step back and reflect how far you've come. And this is not the stop. This is a minor road bump that we're going to keep moving forward from. And he was pretty up for it, to be fair. Like, what's the other option? Sit in your hotel room and feel sorry for yourself?
Yeah. It's important because people don't realise as well, obviously everyone speaks about how attentive you have to be in a fight camp, especially someone like him who does give it everything to the best of his ability. You know, he rocks up and he just gives himself to every session and protocol that he needs to do, and will just blindly listen to. Yeah, he lives a life. Is sometimes people think, oh, well, that's what everyone should do. Yeah, they should. Everyone should do that.
But
they don't.
Enough people that do not do that.
People don't realise this game is everyone's self-employed.
Yeah.
Everyone's self-employed, and there are so many levels to how hard you go as a self-employed person.
Yeah.
There's just infinite levels to it, so this game's no different. But the reason I say that is because, of course, you put so much into it, so much mental, so much physical, and then you have that moment, and you're going to beat yourself up, and that's going to happen anyway. And so you should to a certain extent. At least I would. Like, you're going to for a little bit, of course.
It's the blessing and the curse of being someone that striving to be a high achiever.
Of course.
You're never satisfied, win, lose or draw.
Yeah.
You want more.
Yeah.
You want more, you know, and especially when you don't get the result you want. You're like, fuck, I put so much into this, but sitting alone, contemplating, oh, I should have fucking done this, should have done that. The reality is, it's happened.
Yeah.
What's happened isn't going to change. So you can either move forward or just dwell on it, you know?
Yeah. And we're not doing crazy things like, oh, we're spending a week getting on
On a
random
fucking bender.
street DRUGS in Krakow, Poland, and going to underground raves every day.
Although I'm up for that. Not so much
I
everyone
kind of
else is
sold
saying
it a little bit, to be fair.
Krakow sounds like a good night out.
But the reason I say that is because, okay, the next day we wake up and we're going to a 24/7 spa where you're just having a little mental refresh, you know?
We need to speak about this. So we need to touch more on the night. So yeah, the night was relatively big. I have, I don't really drink. When I do, I feel like I'm fighting this losing battle of just making a complete fool of myself and doing something outrageous. So I'm on the reins all night, trying not to get too drunk. And I was all right. I didn't get too bad.
Goodness.
But we had fun. We were like dancing on stage with Chinese people.
At the rooftop.
This was in the club, yeah.
Yeah,
at the
at the rooftop.
the
At the
rooftop. Yeah,
rooftop.
some funny stuff happened at the rooftop.
At the rooftop.
Yeah, I ordered a fucking Long Island iced tea, drinking it like this. Got a shisha, and then we went to a club, and it was fun. It was fun. We danced, we partied, but yeah.
Bar, I would call it a bar.
A bar.
Yeah.
As soon as I get in, I saw a Mexican girl. I was like, "Come have some tequila." And she just like, I've still got PTSD from tequila, just pouring it down my throat. It was nasty.
I wasn't shocked that you did it, but I just thought where you're at currently, you're probably not going to do it. If it was you of a few years ago, I thought that's a no-brainer.
I was always doing that.
But then when she hit you with the tequila, it was a large amount.
Yeah.
And it was an amount to the point that I just knew there was no return from that moment on.
Oh, yeah, we're out.
It was just, you were going to be on a level after that because somehow, like a pelican, you actually retained a lot. It didn't spill, and you managed to consume a lot of tequila. So I thought, all right, from that moment, it's going to be crazy. And then you just lip 3-pointer in that geezer 3 times.
Yeah.
With the...
I was just spreading the good word, really, you know, just trying to bring snus to China. You could get snus in Tokyo, actually, funny enough. Not strong ones, but giving snus to random Chinese people, dancing on stage, going back to a 7-Eleven. I just remember just eating sandwiches in bed and just like passing out in my terrible hotel room, my prisoner of war camp, no aircon, just absolutely sweating. I woke up the next day at 8 p.m. Like, where am I? There's no, like, when you're drunk and you wake up not knowing where you are and you're in a dingy hotel room in China.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was it, because we met you on the spa.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did that day.
Oh, my goodness.
Slept till 8 p.m. No food, no water. I got straight to the spa. I was like, I need this right now, guys. I've slept all day. Get to the spa. Essentially, sauna, steam, ice bath, cock out, please. Unlimited fruit. It was like £35 for the night. Sleep pods. Essentially shops with no shopkeepers. Just take whatever drinks you want. Ice cream ladies. Everyone's in their own pajamas. It was literally like Squid Games.
Yeah.
Like 100% like Squid Games. It was the mental asylum, and I'm like, they know how to keep me here.
Yeah. It was a psychological experiment because
it worked.
That could have trapped us in for days.
I want to go back. I had a 3-hour layover on the way home. I was tempted. Yeah,
when you've got a little layover in China. I was saying to my mum this week, I really think China's going to get a little refresh on the old tourism board because...
It should.
It's affordability and some of the different experiences and natural things it offers, but then also technological things it offers is super cool. And they're doing some really sick stuff over there.
Their society works.
Politically, I can't comment on all of that because I don't know anything about
we weren't
all
there
of that.
for long
I
enough.
just rocked up for a couple of days, ate some food, got a few taxis and went to a few spas and I enjoyed it.
Very clean and very safe is what I will say.
First thing I said, that was the safe, tell me if I'm wrong, that was the safest I've ever felt in a city anywhere in the world.
I'd have to agree. Yeah. Where else could you say? I've been to Sweden, again, safe, but someone will probably steal my phone if I left it out. Haven't been to Dubai, apparently more of the same. Thailand, safe, but still more third world-ish.
Yeah.
You know, there's parts.
Third world.
Yeah, there's parts of it. Do you know what I mean? There's like
Third world, that's crazy.
ish.
Just said ish. Doesn't
It
make
does. Like, you know, there's like people that are homeless. There's crackheads.
Yeah, but there's
They didn't see
you
any
have
of
that in Bournemouth.
Yeah, we got third
To be
world-ish.
fair,
What,
not
you
as
wouldn't
many.
You wouldn't describe Boscombe as third worldish.
The funny thing about Boscombe, of which is where Frank has fought, and this is one of the establishments, but I also went to uni, is not far from there. It's actually one of the most beautiful areas near
Second
Bournemouth,
worldish.
but also by the high street. It is a rascal place. But in Boscombe, I never felt completely unsafe. I just felt like I may get annoyed by a crackhead. I never felt awfully unsafe. I just felt like there could be a couple of stray crackheads. There was a lot worse things that happened there. Let me be clear about
for
that.
sure.
100%. But yeah, I would say Shanghai, safest place I've ever been to.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. No litter, no homeless.
I don't like the spitting.
Yeah, that is one thing I will say.
Fleming.
Yeah. Just their like mindset is better out than in.
No.
Which I'm not a huge fan
No,
of.
no.
Like with that equivalent, I'll just start pissing.
I'm always very.
You know, just drop a fucking fat log in the middle of the road.
I'm always the first to understand cultural difference and know when to just respect the difference. But there are some things that I kind of just need to be firm on and also say, you know what, I think this could be needing a cultural revisit.
Yeah.
Because at no point is Fleming
I hate
openly. Oh my goodness!
Not a fan.
Ever
No, not a
is
fan.
ever conducive to a better environment. Now listen, they got a lot of things right, so there's probably due a couple of things that they got wrong.
Nowhere's perfect.
I'll give them that, but that and the nose picking, mate. Did I tell you about the plane on the way home?
No.
Oh my goodness!
Also, smoking fags indoors, not into it.
So we have not eaten in a day, literally a day. That's the thing about these fight weeks. Sometimes you have breakfast in the morning and then a ton of random stuff happens and you don't end up eating and next thing you know it's 11 o'clock. So we end up in this little restaurant of which it literally was about 11, I'd probably say, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe about 10 p.m. We sit in there and I already was freaking out a little bit because I'd not had a chance to Google reviews it and I'm really...
You maxed-ismed.
I'm amping out inside.
Yeah.
I'm really hitting the roof. I'm just seeing hot noodle bowls
Not into it.
with the... We went to one before, didn't enjoy that.
No.
That's not my type of Asian cooking. I like a nice searing hot dry pan. I don't like the boils. I don't want to boil the meats or the...
Yeah, I'm not into it.
I don't want the broth.
Not
I want
into it.
heat, fire,
Yeah.
fierceness, nothing wet.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a lot of wet in China that I've learned. So I like the crisp. Anyway, they're just smoking a salmon indoors.
Yeah.
Indoors.
Bear in mind they're the chefs as well. Like my chef's just buying a fucking fag.
Yeah, at least have the decency to go out back.
Yeah.
You know? Regardless, I sit down on my flight from Bangkok to China, of which I'm then going back to the UK. Direct flights going back were steep.
Yeah.
I'll be
At
real.
least $1,000, innit?
If I'm flying close together, I'll do the indirect. If I'm doing long stays in between, I'll get direct.
Yeah.
Regardless, coming back to what I was saying, I max out again on the seats and I get a premium seat with the extra legroom.
Twice.
Happened to me twice. It was crazy. Anyway, this fella next to me is just watching something on his phone. No dramas. I'm sitting away with an edit. I've just had a 1-to-1, an hour session. I thought, right, I'm going to edit all of this during this flight. It's 4 hours. I opened it up and boom, I just got locked in from the minute go. The guy next to me started picking his nose. And I just thought, that's not great etiquette.
Yeah.
That's not great etiquette.
I don't care where you are.
Because we're shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
There's 3 people on this row.
Where are you putting that?
And we're bustling a little bit in
yeah.
the row. There's not ample
I'm
space.
not up for that,
There's
can't
not
lie.
ample space. So when you vibrate, I vibrate with you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So he starts picking his nose. Regardless. It happens once, I let it slide. It happens again. And I'm looking to the left and I see on the opposite side of the road the sort of security person. And I just kept having these intrusive thoughts thinking, he's just of just him stepping in, just ripping me off this geezer. It was like his head's like slamming into the
Putting that 1-to-1 to good use.
just the cushion. Obviously, my normal brain is just thinking, okay, let's just dissect this
Tell him to
information.
stop.
Yeah, let's just say, please, can we? And then I thought, you know what I'll do? I don't even want to speak to him and ask. There might be a language barrier. Surely he'll know what I'm going to say anyway, because he's been aggressively being on his toes. But yeah, I'll just kind of look at him as he's doing it, because nothing will deter a person.
You've been caught green-handed.
More than eye contact, right? So I thought, this is not going to be that comfortable. But as he starts cracking himself out again,
Did you get him right in there?
I'm not just saying it. You know, I wouldn't say it. He's being aggressive, like super aggressive. Because the
cave,
first
mate.
couple times, I just thought, I know it gets dry in the air, and I get it. I understand. It's just kind of like one of them, sweet. Anyway, happens a third time, so I just
You
look
raw
at
dogging
him.
it or tissue?
No, raw dog,
That's
raw
so
dog.
grim.
He's like
That's
30.
good. Yeah,
sorry, he's like
that's all right.
34 years of age. Just like watching his Netflix with his hoodie on.
Yeah, just
he's like a fully grown
getting
man.
stuck in.
Yeah, fully grown
Rough.
human being, right?
Rough.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, right, I'm going to make eye contact. So next time he does it, I just stare him in the eyes, like point blank in the eyes. And I thought, there's no way a man turns around and does that again after you just get stared in the eyes. Like,
I'd stop.
there's just a level, right? There's just, you can't do that after someone looks you in the eyes whilst you're doing it. It's just a level of,
Caught in the act.
it's just a level of shame. Like,
Yeah,
if
you
you're
should
picking
feel
your
shame. You
nose
should
to
feel
that
shame.
level and I'm staring at you in the eyes on the plane, is, I don't know, have some,
Decorum.
you know what I mean?
Self-respect.
100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not just saying this for effect. He starts amping it up. He starts
he's
amping
fucking
it
with
up.
you.
Yeah, so he just starts getting more aggressive. So I just moved, and they come over to me and say, "Hello, sir. Is this your original seat?" I said, "This fella over there." And as I look over, the geezer behind me looks over because he can hear this story. The security that's sitting next to me in the seat now, thinking, "Why is he sitting next to me?" is now listening. And there's 3 members of staff that have come over. I've all looked over as this geezer's looking over to me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like,
You got the message.
basically. Anyway, I ended up in Bangkok. But yeah, before I went to Bangkok, obviously we had the 24/7 sauna. And when you slept all day,
Partied all night.
we went shopping. So we just went round the shops and we saw a couple of the malls and whatnot. Long got some clothes.
Can't lie.
Lou got some clothes.
I wouldn't have bought any clothes. I would have taken that deal up front. I sleep
Which
all
one?
day. You go shopping. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
100%.
needed that sleep.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, yeah.
It's bad.
No,
I
I
think-
get.
Could be like a genetic issue.
I don't think so.
I just can't not sleep. Only when I can sleep, obviously, not hungover. If I've had especially where I don't drink that often,
Yeah.
I'm just out. I lose a day. I just love it as well.
It is crazy.
I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I never regret it.
I don't think people quite realise what that looks like.
The
It looks
magnitude.
like, yeah, people don't realise. They may hear those numbers and just think, all right, you had a long sleep, but it's not quite like that. It doesn't tell the full story, because when you see it firsthand, it's just different, because you'll go into your room and maybe you wake up early because when you've gone out drinking the night before,
body just gets up.
your body just gets up pretty early. It's like 7, 8 and you're thinking, oh, I'm up, I feel lively. You're just drunk and you're
Yeah.
actually a bit delirious. And I'll go into your room or I'll text you or something and you'll just be out. And then I'll see you 14 hours later, just not moved from that same position.
Yeah.
And it's just wild to me as someone that tosses and turns and gets up so frequently.
That's the secret to sleep recovery. Just go out hard the night before. Full factory reset, I call it.
Yeah.
Full factory reset.
Gets the little knife in the back of the screw and just hits the little button.
Well, you know, like when you put your phone on a supercharger and it's just like fucking 100% battery for the next 3 hours. So I wake up from an 18-hour nap and then go straight to the spa. Even in the spa, I was a bit delirious. I was like, I could sleep more. You know, when you're like overtired, I'm like, I don't even feel actually fully recovered. But then I had a nice bath and a sauna, cock out,
Again,
free fruit.
the range of Todgers.
Yeah, I'd say the stereotypes might be true, but there are exceptions to the rules from my experience.
I felt reassured, to be fair. I felt reassured.
I was like, all right.
I felt reassured at
We
many
are here,
different
yeah.
levels.
What I will say is some of the bush to shop ratio is mad.
So many Leslie Chows.
Yeah, we got sick time, bitches.
It was actually crazy because Oh man, it was a flipping. That was a weird trip to top that off. Going back to Bangkok for a couple of days, then I went and saw my family. I was thinking I had a few days there, but because I actually got the later flight, I ended up only having 2. So I just went there quickly, saw them. Do you want some of this coke?
We got another one in there.
No, you can share this one with me.
I might have something. I've got a little bit in here.
I went and saw them and got some training sessions in, and I just hit up the local gym that I always go to and did 2 pad sessions. And I just thought, when I was editing them, I thought, we've just flown to the other side of the world. We've gone to UFC Shanghai. We've filmed a ton of content there. We've gone out afterwards in regards to the spa. And I've gone to Bangkok, seen my family, filmed there, trained there, and now I'm flying back. And I'm just thinking, we just hopped to Asia for a quick trip to develop some elbows. I was thinking, this is...
Yeah, a little pit stop.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Check in with crew, and then out we go.
Literally, check in with crew and bounce back to Derby.
Yeah. So Derby in Tokyo.
Derby on Tokyo. Go on, you give me the debrief on Tokyo, and then we'll finish with the full debrief on Tokyo Wrestling.
Crescendo. Yeah, Tokyo's cool. Yeah, we're good. Big culture shock when I got there. What I will say is, sushi, very good, but I also had some actually bad sushi.
Yeah.
I had sushi out there that was unbelievable, like, out of this world, but I also had sushi that I've had better in a selection box from Lidl.
Big shout.
Big shout. Bold statement, I know, but genuine statement.
Big shout.
Yeah. So, again, this is why I think sometimes TikTok recommendations can ruin things. I got there earlier than Lon, so I was there with Lou for 2 days. We went and trained at Carpe Diem. Shout out Carpe Diem.
That's a cool t-shirt. Is that their t-shirt?
Yeah.
That's cool. I actually thought I saw that earlier and was meant to ask you what was that, because the back of it's actually a sick design.
It's got all the different types of grips and stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
It's cool. Yeah, and he couldn't have been nicer. So we went there in the evening on the Monday, and can't lie, it was like a hobbyist class, you know. I was like, oh, these guys are not that good. I was like, how long have you been training for? A lot of people spoke English. He's like, 18 months, 3 times a week, but I had a brief stint out because of my knee. I was like, all right, cool. So they weren't that good. And then Thomas was like, come tomorrow at 11, trust me. I was like, all right, cool. Got there tomorrow at 11. I was like, obviously in Nogi, you don't know who's which belt. Yeah. You're like, oh, he looks good, he seems confident. So
it's actually nowhere to tell him, really. You have to watch him go live. And even there, sometimes it's hard to judge because you don't know
and you're working it out on the fly.
Yeah.
So first round, I'm looking at this geezer. They're like, oh, he's a wrestler. I'm like, great, he's a big guy. I'm like, oh, he's like 100 kilos. Going with him, and he's like throwing me. I'm getting back up, trying to take him down. He's like massive. And I'm like, how much do you weigh? He's like, oh, I'm 120 kilos.
Flipping out.
I went, oh,
120
he went, I'm a wrestler. I went, yeah, you wrestle. He went, no, I'm a wrestler. And he shows me a picture of him, heavyweight champion, Japan, WWE. Some little Japanese man's raising his hand, and then like I look on his Instagram, and he's like been wrestling his whole life. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, he's a full wrestler.
Yeah, he's WWE.
Give me his Insta.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
Toe wrestling.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
World champion from Japan. We need an excuse to go out to Japan.
I'll send it over to you. And then the other guys, I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm rolling one of me knee bars me like 3 times. I'm thinking, fucking hell, you're good. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm doing Polaris squads next week. And he's like, you guys MMA? We're like, yeah, we do MMA. He's like, I used to fight MMA, but I had like a couple brain injuries and stuff, so I'm just jiu-jitsu now. And I thought,
couple brain injuries.
Yeah, or like a problem with his brain where it wasn't smart to carry on fighting. And I thought nothing of it. He's like, I was like, oh, what shows? I fought in Rising a few times. I'm like, oh, decent. He's like, do you know Melvin Manhoof? I went, yeah, I know Melvin Manhoof. But yeah, I fought him. And then I was like, did you win? So I just didn't say anything. He was a jits guy. And I was like, I reckon Melvin fucking sparked him. Go on his Sapology, heel hooks Melvin Manhoof.
Really?
Yeah, he's 5-0.
Crazy.
5-0. Another guy competed in 1. He's hitting like flying arm bars in 1. Thomas, the black belt head instructor, like just black belt competitor, massive. Good. They were good, but we gave them good work. Do you know what I mean? They were like, you guys are tough, man. You guys are good.
Better work than UFC PI.
The level was better. Yeah,
level
and
that
I was more optimal.
Level that you gave.
But that being said, they couldn't be any more nicer and hospitable. Gave me a t-shirt, let us train for free, told us, and then we were chatting to Thomas after, who's the owner, and we was like, where's good sushi? He said, you have to go here, and we went there, and that was the best sushi we had all trip. So like, I feel like if you're looking for recommendations, if you can organically ask people that are living there, it is going to be a lot better than someone on TikTok that's trying to get views.
Yeah.
Come with me to my favourite sushi spot.
I'm someone that's always liked to have research before I went places, but one thing that I've never done too much, because I really don't like it, is done too much visual research. I like to find out, okay, what are the sort of good attractions to go to, or where would they be, or if it's a flipping museum or an art exhibition or a restaurant, or do you know what I mean?
If you watch too much, you feel like you've been there before you've been there a little bit.
100%, and you don't really get that shock factor, like you said earlier, of actually being somewhere culturally different, because the world's so open these days. But every time we go to China, I said this week, it is a cultural shock, because
Massively.
I know I'm not expecting everyone to speak perfect English, but it is crazy because there's so many people of that country. You see so many Chinese people in England alone that you just have interactions with that will speak perfect English.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Some better than mine.
And so you just subconsciously, when you go out and you see Chinese people everywhere, you just think they'll be not, they can speak fluent English, but they'll have like a hello and like a thank you at least of knowledge, but they don't, and that's why I always just find it so cool. I'm like, we're actually somewhere different.
Kind of respect it.
Yeah, I like it. It makes you feel like you're in a different country for the first time in a long time. Because even if you go to sort of different countries locally in Europe now, it just, I don't know, some of the cities, they just it feels a lot smaller, especially with seeing everything on TikTok.
Even at the PI, Alberto was teaching the technique. He was from side control, I want to beat this elbow frame here, do this. And then the translator would, I'm not going to do my Chinese impression, XYZ in Chinese, Cantonese, Mandarin.
They don't love it when I do, the dinner table.
They're not a huge fan of it.
No, joke.
After 4 gin and tonics.
Did have a couple of gin and tonics at Perry's. Did have a couple of G&Ts. Even then, we go from the rooftop where the drinks were expensive, but it was just kind of standard London price, I'll be real. It was nothing actually too crazy. Yeah, it was actually very recreational London price. It was £10 for a bottle
cocktail.
of small beer, and then it was probably 12, 13 quid for a cocktail. But again, it was standard London prices, and it was a phenomenal location.
Unbelievable.
The view and where it was actually so cool. So it's very rare that you go somewhere and you think, you know what, it's actually worth the premium pricing just for the location. But we go to the next place, and then boom, it was back to normal Chinese city like we'd known, because £1.50 bottle of Asahi.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have a couple of £1.50s Asahis, £2 G&Ts of just all the standard brands.
Yeah.
Bargain.
I mean,
weren't a bad gaff, that Perry's.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
No, I was into it. It was cool. It was a good mix between like kind of a bar and then a little bit clubby, you know. It was good. The rooftop bar was good. All of it. That was, I'd say, we had a night out in Tokyo as well. Also very fun. I just had more fun in China. I think because there was more of us. Yeah. And it was just the vibes. Everyone was dancing. But yeah, Tokyo was fun for a night out. But yeah, overall cool place. Saw way more Asian penises than I ever intended to. We get to the sauna, right? And like, because Tokyo's a bit of a tourist spot now, like they're more lenient on tattoos. She was like, you need to wear a sticker. I was like, what, to cover it? And like between us, we've got quite a few tattoos, men and women. They're not mixed. And they were like, oh no, just wear a sticker. And essentially, they just stuck a sticker on our chest. It's like branded us like
foreigner.
Yeah, like no one's gonna think I'm Japanese.
Cattle class.
Yeah, no matter how many ice baths I get in, no one's thinking I'm Asian. And it was kind of underground. We had these stickers on, and like I tried to wrap my towel around, but they're like, no. I'm like, fucking cock out, cock out.
Real cock out culture.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. A lot of goths.
A lot of goths.
In Japan though, goths.
It kind of died out a little bit in England, the goth, and so much so that your brother didn't actually know what a goth was.
Sam or Fred?
Fred.
Didn't know what a goth was.
We said goth, and he went, what does that mean? I said, you don't know what a goth is? That was a big word back in when we were young. Yeah. That just meant gothic. Someone that dressed, this was the word, grunger.
Grunger, yeah.
And I said, grunger. Yeah, and he said, what does that mean? And it comes from essentially they dress grungy, right? They dress in a grungy way, listen to grungy music. It's a whole genre in itself. But a lot of goths.
A lot of goths in Japan. Anime and goths. They have like gaming. I don't know if there's casinos, but it's similar to Vegas slots where everyone's there and they're just playing like Tekken or some other Japanese game, and there's like hundreds of them just playing.
Really?
Yeah, we went in. I tried to take some photos. They were like, no, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing when you're in China. You don't really know. I know you weren't in China then, but we
that
were
part of the world in
originally.
general, yeah, you don't
that
wanna
part of
fuck
the world.
about.
You don't want to push the laws of anything. So you're trying to tread on eggshells, but sometimes you just get carried away. In our culture, we're so used to having our phones in our hands, just recording different things.
Yeah, record anything. But
Being in public spaces, especially. So it's just second nature to us now. So you do have to sort of remind yourself it is important. But
yeah, to round up Japan, very, very cool. What I will say to anyone intending going to Japan, not as expensive as people make out. Accommodation can be if you do it bougie, but a lot cheaper than London. And if you are doing it, what I wish I would have done differently, I wish I would have gone out of the touristy bit a little bit and into some of the more cultured parts. But can't really complain too much. Japan and Shanghai. When I was like putting on my story and stuff that I'm in Japan, so many people messaged me like, "Oh my god, I'm so jealous. This is like my dream location." And it is cool, and I would recommend it. Very grateful for the trip, and very grateful that we did that extension of the trip. But yeah, those would be my main bits of advice. Ask locals where to eat and what to do. Don't go too much off TikTok recommendations. If you do train, find a good gym. Very, very good training out there. I was saying this out there. Think about it objectively, right? Japan, boxing. You've got Inoue. They invented the brand winning. What, Japanese K1? The jiu-jitsu, I can tell you from first-hand experience, is very, very high level. Wrestling.
they created it, Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, exactly. Wrestling, they're now medaling at the Olympics, like up there with Russia
They
and
are
stuff.
sick wrestlers.
Sick wrestlers.
Yeah, they are sick wrestlers.
Judo was essentially invented there. So you've got everything you need and more to find the spots. A very, very good level of training in Japan.
Underrated spot on the world stage, maybe Japan.
Yeah, massively. There's some killers that come out of Japan.
I love watching Yuki Yoza recently. I've been watching a lot of that kid. Have you seen him? Little, short,
In the UFC.
tanned southpaw.
K1.
Is in... What's he in? What's his organisation? Does he fight in 1FC? Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. I always get mixed up. I'm not the greatest with the organisations. He fights in 1FC. Southpaw, he's got golden hair. He's a crazy kickboxer. Just smashes the legs in close, kicks with the...
Stabs the toes.
with the ball of the foot.
Yeah.
I realise now as well, a lot of people don't speak about this, and this segues us beautifully. But what they're actually doing, a lot of the Japanese fighters, is they're training flexion like crazy. So much so that their toes are essentially going back on a 45 degree, some of these people.
It's the difference between like that and that.
The difference is crazy because they're actually eradicating the toe pretty much from the entire movement as best as they physically can.
Foot.
And it is just that hard bit of
You're
bone.
not going to break that.
No, and it's actually really nice to land that because it's quite...
Stab those toes.
Yeah, it's quite a tough part of the foot, to be honest, that and the heel. When I was in Bangkok, actually, I got showed this teep for the first time. It sounds obvious now I listen to it back, but at the time, no one had actually shown me this particular adjustment to the teep. He was just showing me to angle the foot up a little bit more and go with the heel. And I started landing
Teep with the heel.
The teep. Yeah. So I was just changing my teep from like a conventional teep. I like to just stab more than push. I don't push. There's a bit of a difference between it. There's a difference, right? There's a push kick.
Pushing's dated.
And there's a teep kick.
Yeah.
I just teep at every option. There's different looks you can give, different angles.
The only time you should push is if you're a Roman gladiator and you're shouting, "This is Sparta."
Yeah.
That's the only time.
Charles Jourdain.
Yeah. That's the only time. That's the only time you should push.
Charles Jourdain actually did just
stab those teeps.
Yeah. So he showed me to just angle it a little bit more and go with the heel. And I just started keeping the same target and just going with a heel.
Never done that.
And I'd never done it before. And I just thought, oh, that's such a simple adjustment. But that sounds horrible. He did it once. He's 52 kilos. No, he was lighter. He was actually 48, I believe. It was 48 kilos. So he was a light Thai geezer. And he made me put the belly shield on. And I was actually gutted because I was just ordered a cab and it just rocked up. And he just broke out randomly. I've met him before, Crew Artur, tiny little geezer. And he was just showing me teeps, and I don't think he realised how much I love teeps. So when we was talking about this, I was like sick, and he made me put the belly shield on, and he was showing me the adjustment with the heel, and oh my goodness, the thud he was landing at 48 kilos, just touching, boom. I thought, this is crazy. So I've started adding that to the
Stab teeps.
yeah, to the arsenal with the ball of the foot,
Stomp teeps.
with the stomp,
Stomp.
with the ball of the heel of the foot.
Speaking of feet.
Speaking of
Someone
feet.
say feet.
Did someone say the Toe Wrestling World Champions 2025? This year, you asked me the other day, how was it? And I was actually weighing up whether to respond or just save everything for you in person. Because this year, honestly, from start to finish, was just bonkers. From the inception of the idea to how the entire year panned out overall, going to different shows across the country, getting booked to different places, all of the media, all of the build-up, all of the different things that happened individually for our businesses, and then to pull that together last minute. We didn't sign the contracts for the major sponsor until, I shouldn't really be saying it, this is not really the end of the world, so I will say it, but we didn't get everything signed and over the line until like the week off. Like the week off. And we're throwing a major production with all of different rigging costs, lighting costs, manual labour costs. Then you've got people that are coming up on the day and working full days. So
I don't think a lot of people realise the magnitude of the level of production, because people just think it's like, we went to that one where it was in the pub and we were just having a little toe wrestle with the doctor. But like it's different level.
People don't understand the magnitude of it. They couldn't until you see it. You don't quite understand.
Once you tell them about the prize money, that legitimises it a lot to people that don't know.
Yeah, that was always my main thing, right? In the build up to this. So the way that this actually came about. So we should actually just strip it back, go to the start. So the way this came about is obviously we bought the sport collectively a couple of years ago. I bought in a year ago, and now we're building up to the World Championships. But a very long time ago, we had the conversation around the prize money. Last year it was £1,000. We had our sponsor was Oddly Good, and we had £1,000. The year before it was zero.
Sure.
So we've gone 0 to 1,000, and this year, at some random time, we just said, we'll do the prize. Someone said, we'll do the prize money 10 grand, jokingly. I just thought, I'm running with this and saying this everywhere. I then jumped on a podcast and said 10,000 to the prize. And I just started, I didn't even clip it. Someone just watched it and it got back to them, word got back to them. And I just kept saying it publicly. And then at the end of the day, it eventually turns out we made it happen. We take care of that. We take care of the production costs, and therefore we could then level up the production of the plates. And what people will quickly understand is the people that are dealing with the production are some of the very best in the world at this game at the moment. They don't realise. Amity Studio, in regards to the media space, there probably isn't many faster growing companies in the world, period, in that lane. It's insane. They just featured in Forbes magazine this year. That's why Ben's had to travel to, I think, France it was, multiple times. On the same weekend as Toe Wrestling, we can't even have their full team because they've got a main shoot in Ibiza with Netflix for Love Island or something. Man. So they're having to film that. Their entire office at the moment, we can't even go there to film because the entire bottom floor of where we did the pop-up is just desked out with editors. It's mental. I saw a picture the other day. It's like 80 editors in one room. It's insane. It's like early stages of flipping meta. But these guys are the best in the world at storytelling and documentary creating and creating stories. You've got Elizabeth, who literally lives for stories and weird ones and wacky ones at that. And she's a very creative and insightful mind into a lot of things with the media, more traditionally so. And then you've got people like Connor and Ben behind the scenes who creatively as mind and documentary makers, they're looking to make a BAFTA. Like, this is not, all right, let's just keep it rolling and see what funny bits we get. They're going out with the intent of making a BAFTA.
Yeah, this is not...
And they said that for the first time. I hadn't heard that before. And when they said it this weekend, I thought, this will be a BAFTA winner, 100%. The angle that they're creating the documentary from. around Ben basically creating this sport is how they're going to sort of angle it and show the evolution of it. And I just thought, oh, that's an absolute no-brainer. So I come back from Bangkok. The next day is when I'm going to Ashbourne. That's why I had to come back and I couldn't go to Japan. And I messaged them and I said, oh, mate, there's so much about this flipping story. I messaged them and said, right, where and when? And they say, tomorrow, 6 a.m. Bethnal Green. Of which I've just got home from China, from the flight and everything. I've got home, I've spent the day, and then it's boom. Next day it's 6 a.m. I thought, you know what? I live for this. This is what I am literally...
Sleep's overrated anyway.
I'd had the day of sleep, and the day before I actually managed to catch up as well. So I was just thinking, you know what?
I'm there.
I knew this date was in my diary all year. So this has been no surprise. I've been mentally 30th of August. I was like, right, let's ready to go.
We're locking in.
We go to pick up McDojo, otherwise known as McTojo, at the local hotel, which is just down the corner. He's got in the night before, of which there's been constant back and forth throughout the year of how he's going to turn up, he's going to document everything, he's going to be like the main influencer of the event because we're like keeping the media real low numbers. He's over here after extensive negotiations. We're then picking him up to drive him to Derby in the morning, of which was always the arrangement. So we said, right, we'll have someone stay for you and we'll also drop you to the venue. He's then not answering his phone. So Elizabeth is flipping, calling him like crazy, and he's not picking up. And it's 6 bells in the morning. It's 6:30 in the morning at this point, and we're outside in a zip car. We've got the car full of camera gear. We're just waiting for McTojo to rock up. And
Are
he's
you
not
outside his
answering the blower.
apartment?
Yeah, we're outside the hotel. Just not answering the blower. And it's of that hour where you think, if they don't answer now, they ain't answering for 5 hours. You know, it's not even one of those you can hang about for.
He's on demon time.
And she said, oh, can you please call him? And I said, we can't call him. She said, can I go? There's no way. So she manages to blag it so she actually can go up there saying, oh, he's going to miss a flight. He's going to be gutted. He said, oh, no, my boss will kill me. Slips him up some emergency exit where there's no cameras. So she's not on CCTV. Then she goes in his room, like smashing it down. Doesn't wake up. So we have to get in the car. We drive all the way to Derby. We don't hear a word of him. We get to Derby. The stage is being put up. We turn around. We're just chatting to the people that are putting up the stage. And there's 4 geezers who look... They look like the people you meet when you start events and you put up large gazebos and large pieces of furniture. We've been around those spaces. I've been in those spaces. They're the type of people we meet. We meet 4 of those in the Midlands. So just to add a little bit of flavour to these said people. The fella then gets crushed by the stage that he's just sort of taken his eye off and it's fallen on him. And he's screaming on the deck. We've got the documentary crew rolling. We've just rocked up.
It's all on camera.
Everything's just kind of live rolling. I don't know if he actually caught the initial incident, but now this fellow's screaming. Next thing I know, there's an air ambulance, helicopter, police are there, ambulance is there, fellas on the deck just chain smoking, getting calls from his wife.
Whilst
he's just on the floor, and everyone's just looking, thinking, what is happening? They're cracking on building the stage. They've not really missed an absolute beat. So they're just cracking on. And they're like, you all right, Dave? And he's like, yeah, I've got the ex-missus on the phone.
Fuck's it.
And he's getting calls from everyone he knows. He's on the deck just like clutching his leg. He was 50 stone. He'd lost 27 stone.
What, so he was 67? He was 77?
No, sorry. He was 50 stone.
Oh, right,
and he lost 27.
Yeah.
So he was now 23 stone.
What's that in kilos?
A lot of stone.
Yeah, it's heavy, man.
50 kilos is like...
50 stones.
I don't know, that's like 200 kilos or something. It's I don't know, it's insane amounts of weight.
Regardless,
yeah, if there's 6 kilos in a stone, so a lot of mass. Yeah. Right, that's a lot of mass. So he's just there clutching himself, and this is within 10 minutes of being there. Anyway, that gets sorted. He gets shipped away. He's on the gas and air. He's having a good time. He gets carted. That's how things start. So not tremendous on that front, and then the Avengers starts ramping up really, and you start realizing there's a lot of elements that are going into this.
Yeah, this is not a get up and sort of see what's happening. This is pre-organised.
No, this is, we're there the day before. We're getting things started to
be locked in. But then we're having to liaise with our clients, right?
Sure.
Our stakeholders, the people that are competing, people that we've invited, media, press, sponsors. So we have dinner with them. Not a chore, by the way. All fantastic people.
Sure.
The guy who's coming to help as one of the main leads on the documentary crew in regards to the camera, he's like a very experienced head in the TV sort of documentary filmmaking of the last 30 years, which now, as people can probably imagine, is like a very big dying industry.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of phenomenally talented and seasoned vets in that game.
They're experienced.
And I met one in this fella called Dom, and I said to him, "What's one of the most interesting?" He was an intense character, and he was asking me a lot of questions. So I was being very intense with him, especially when it came to toe wrestling. I said, "What's one of the most interesting documentaries you ever worked on?" He was like, "Probably the recent one. He just did the Bonnie Blue documentary."
Did he?
Yeah.
Is that on Netflix?
I don't think that's on Netflix.
That might make it, really. That's
yeah, it was on Channel
YouTube.
4. It was on Channel 4.
Might watch it.
But regardless, he was a very interesting man. So the entire crew that was there was actually phenomenal because we had incredible sponsors, being Vibram, and they're absolutely crushing it. Like, after meeting the main girl, Abby, that she takes care of the marketing, and speaking to her more about the brand, the behind the scenes, the vision, then seeing what they're doing on socials, then seeing they're just sellouts. Some of their ranges are selling out in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
When we were doing the collaboration polls, they're making the content which is going out to Vibrams and Toe Wrestling, to the Vibrams I was going to say North Korea. No, not. South Korea. Vibram South Korea.
Maybe North. Doubt it.
I don't know. They would probably want to brand those, I'd imagine. I don't know if they'd be so happy about that. But she was sort of talking about the concept of how they're not really trying to get into the hands of everyone either. And that's always a vibe I love, because I always said to you, when I met the family I used to PT over there and I asked them about the clothing, you know, the ones that used to own Child's Play?
Yeah.
They always said to me, get in the hands of the right person once. So
high ticket seller.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just also, it's not always, it is from a higher ticket perspective as well, but also a case of sometimes that's the message you want to give off, right? You don't.
Not for everyone.
Yeah, you're not trying to be Nike, you're not trying to be Adidas. Maybe it's just less people are going to know about your brand, and that's the way you want to keep it, right? To a certain extent. But those that know about it, and they know about it properly, they're going to follow it and be very intentional with their following of the journey. So yeah, they were a sick company to work with, but yeah, just getting the event set up was a bit of a trip, to be perfectly honest.
What happened to McDojo?
Oh, flipping! Didn't even round off the story.
No.
So after that all happens and whatnot, he drops a message and goes, "Oh, that was an expensive $500 mistake." I was like, "Oh no, what's he done?" I'm thinking he's gone out drinking all night. He did go out drinking, so sure. I just think it was later. Then he's letting on. He said 1 o'clock. No way. I thought it was later. He was at least on his phone later. But in America, they don't have switches. They don't have switches on the plugs. So he's just plugged his phone in as well, thinking, "Oh, it's on."
Charging, yeah.
It is a fair mistake. I'll give him that. I know he went out boozing, and that was actually probably 90%. But I'll give him the phone thing because that is true. Nowhere actually has plugs, apart from the UK and I think Abu Dhabi or Dubai.
What, switches?
Nowhere has switches. Yeah. It's kind of weird when you think about it. I thought everywhere had plugs. Yeah. Regardless, he got an Uber the whole way there, which was like 3.5 hour journey.
That poor Uber driver, man.
It's about 400 quid, I think it was. 450 quid. Yeah. I was thinking, I don't know why he didn't just get the train, but I think he just wanted to get there after that point. You know, he just kind of messed up.
Get a PJ.
He just wanted
VIP treatment.
He just wanted to get there at the end of the day. So yeah, he ended up getting there a lot later, but at this point we're sort of setting it up. But I guess after the first day, which was mainly just putting it together and whatnot, the second day was just early.
Is that when the competition starts?
This is when the competition starts on Saturday, right? So this is the World Championship. So now this is bringing everything together. This is bringing media together. This is bringing fans together. The pub who are hosting it. That's bringing competitors, a full bracket, all the prize, all the sponsors, all the production, all the photographers. So many different components and trying to bring it all together.
How many people competed, roughly?
Full bracket on the women. So that was, 16? And then pretty much a full bracket for the men's as well. So 32 competitors. Right, get the names, the walkout names for them, the song names, get them signed up, and a lot to learn and a lot to improve.
Sure, it's the first proper big
But
production.
a lot of things to bring together on the final day. And then, obviously, I'm having to do a lot of different jobs, right? So I'm running around, and I think back to... as I'm doing this, I think, oh, I've been doing this. When I was doing the beer fest at South Woodford, when I was 14, 15, 16. Remember when I used to do the major ones? I don't know if you came to the year that it was the busiest. We probably had a couple of thousand people over that weekend. It was flipping hectic.
They got hectic.
They got busy. There was 4 major tents.
Yeah.
We had the big bar open inside. We had it open in the middle of the fields as well. It used to get flipping. So I remember those going up and sort of trying to be everywhere. But the mayor comes.
The mayor of Derby.
The mayor of Ashbourne, right, rocks up and she's opening the ceremony.
Did you have the scissors?
Oh my goodness. Ben said afterwards, I don't know why he didn't tell me before because I would have made sure they were there if nothing else. He said, I really wanted her to have the comically big scissors.
Yeah,
you know those ones?
yeah.
And I just thought, that would have been amazing. Because she rocks up and you're waiting for this person to be smooth on the mic, used to public speaking.
PR trained.
She's exactly like Ben as a woman of older age.
You're at all.
Yeah, basically. So she's talking about toe wrestling and then opening this event, and then it just pans to Ben on this footage I've seen when I watch back, and he's just smoking the fag, and she's like, "Thanks to Ben for being on the council," and he's like chanting the fag like that, putting it out. And he's like, "Yeah, cheers, love," and she's like, "Sorry, I'm not great at this," and she's trying to cut in. It's like not cutting properly. It's just comical, exactly how you'd imagine it. But she just turns to me and goes, "Oh, I love it. Can I have a pint for her husband?" And there was like no one near me, and I was thinking, I can't just tell her no. But I've also got to go and prep this entire event of how this sport is played.
Sure.
Otherwise, no one's going to know. No problem. So I'm having to try and get her a pint for her fella and a tonic, and then go and run a rules meeting. I get pushed into this room, and they go, right, we're going to do everyone together. So it's all the male competitors, all the female competitors, all the camera crew, and then family and friends of a couple of loose people that have just managed to get in and not left.
50 people.
Easy.
Yeah.
And it's just all funneled just onto one chair. They went, right, rules meeting. And I was just thinking, right, okay, we're gonna have to hit this off of the get. We cannot stutter, we cannot we cannot and we cannot be unclear. I just had one take on it, and I went from the start to the bottom. I missed one small detail which Alan thankfully dropped in.
He did.
And I managed to absolutely just nail it. Bearing in mind that I was the one with Ben sitting on a flipping call in my shed this year, making up these rules.
Yeah.
So we've kind of created the rules for the sport. Yeah, 100%. Because I look at the UFC and I just think, right, there's how did they do things? They've got Mark Ratner, they've got regulations, they then brought in... You have to do that if you want to make it a competitive sport and you want to put prize money on the line. So... we're sat there making them up, and now I'm having to deliver them to 50 people in a room, which is not the end of the world, but also millions of people online. I know we're going to watch this. This is going to go on the doc. This is going to go on my content. Everyone's there capturing it. And I was thinking, flipping out. There was a lot more attention than I thought.
Now or never, though. Sink or swim.
Yeah, I do. I love the thrill, though.
Yeah.
I love just getting a couple of coffees. And
into it. Yeah, sometimes when you get in that flow state with a bit of caffeine, you're like, I'll riff. I could riff.
I realised that just getting caffeinated and having my job, but the best bits of it all on one day, and I just can have a couple of coffees and hit that. I just get into the flow state of it. So I just thought, this is...
You add nicotine into that mix, you're a dangerous man.
Yeah, that's why I never wanted to go down that road. I feel like I could then just go I'd go too far down that road. So it's good that I don't go down it. But I had to do that, and then I had to go on stage and then basically show the refs how it was officiated. And it's all laughs and it's all jokes until the officiators now realise, okay, there's a major camera looking down on them here. There's a row of photographers and videographers, and then there's an entire field of family and friends cheering and supporting, and there's 10 grand on the line.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
And you start realising, even when I got onto the podium, I looked out into the crowd and I bent down and I was giving the rules and things. We did it in London. There was a handful of people there, you know? So I did that then. And that goes back to the start of the year. I know I'm rambling everywhere here. There's just a lot of flipping toe wrestling information. But that was when we was in the pub in London doing the London Open.
Yeah.
And there was a fraction of the people, but you wrestled. I had to be the MC. I had to be the ref. So I got some reps.
Yeah.
And then later in the year, I went to Bournemouth and did the same thing at Bournemouth Sevens,
Yeah.
which was kind of a crazy experience for me because Bournemouth Sevens major event throughout uni for me because that's where everyone went.
Yeah.
And it was always my
a big
birthday
spot.
weekend.
Yeah.
And I'd never been.
Never.
I'd never been.
First time toe wrestling.
I'd never been. So toe wrestling was the thing that took me to Bournemouth Sevens, and I was running the toe wrestling event at Bournemouth Sevens. So got more reps in and got a different environment of reps as well.
Yeah,
so like
now
a
when
festival.
you come to the World Championship, I've done this.
Yeah, but also I'd done it at multiple locations, right?
Yeah.
So I did it at the pub, so I know how it feels in the pub. I did it outside at the World Championship, so I know how it feels to do the outside event. And then I've also done it where it was the complete flip of that, and we did it with the full production as well, with like the filming. So yeah, right. Where was I? And let's wrap with the title wrestling. So long story short, we go through the day. It flipping starts pissing it down.
Derby, innit?
Adds to the charm,
Yeah.
adds to the element of it. And then the screen breaks, boom, no screen. So now the thing that everyone's watching on under the dry cover is just completely gone, right? So we're like, oh my goodness, no. So the production just drops, which is a major thing when you're running
Sure.
a production
Yeah.
heavy.
You want people to see it.
Yeah, 100%. And the lights were cool, and the screen was sick as well. And anyway, that goes down. The production, anyway, was speedily on it. They were sick. The geezer just flown in from Ibiza. He'd just been working in Ibiza, running the production sets. He's the one that works on the Riyadh season, does all the boxing.
Sick.
So there was
Big
very
dog in the
skilled
game,
guys
yeah.
on here as well. Like, but the thing is as well, they were like young teenagers who had learned it all off their dad.
Yeah.
And they were like these super autistic, lighting, knowledgeable people. And it was sick.
They just knew the game.
Knew the game, and they just loved the hustle of it, and they were just sick on the rigging, how they were putting it up, putting these complex structures together. It was no joke on a lot of different levels. So yeah, it was a pretty good all-round effort. And then to conclude, the girl that wins it, this is the story of the World Championships. The girl who wins it, right, has rocked up to the pub that day. She was not going to compete. She was there to watch her family member to compete because her second name is Beach. The reason that is of relevance is her old man is one of the only people in history to beat Alan Nasty Nash, and he's a 3-time world champion back 30 years ago. And then the mum is like a 5-time world champion.
It's a lineage.
Exactly. There's like 10 world championships in the family name itself. She weren't going to compete. Anyway, she gets pushed to compete. She beats the former champion in a very, very controversial match. And then she comes into the final, wins, and the emotion on her face was phenomenal. She became the youngest world champion in toe wrestling history. She added an 11th world title to her family name. She took home £5,000 and she went viral across infinite media outlets. The Times were there taking photos. We were there documenting it. Vibrams were the main sponsor, publicising everywhere. So it went to millions of people worldwide. And she just became a superstar in toe wrestling overnight. She goes #1 of the world rankings. We made the world rankings the other day, so we've now got the official world rankings. We've got Ben at #1.
Of course.
Becomes the first ever 4 times in a row world champion. No one's ever defended the belt 4 times. And there's some flipping strong bastards in there. And you realise to be at the top of this sport for a few years, he goes and does the media run afterwards. So he's on Talk Sport this morning. They're getting crazy media coverage in the afters of it. So all in all, a wild, wild event because the media just in the build-up and the aftermath was cool. The coverage was cool and the event went very, very well. And when you look back on it now online, it just tells a great story from a lot of different angles, you know. So I'm pretty happy with it.
What's next for toe wrestling? US debut, I think.
So it's interesting you say that. I'll tell you off camera because it's not official.
Okay.
So I don't want to over-deliver. But we are looking to get into the US market. Naturally, McTojo is our plug to that market, and we're potentially looking at working together
Is he anonymous?
sometime soon.
Is he like?
No.
Is it a faceless account?
Well, it is, but he
doesn't care.
No, he
about
doesn't
not
care
hiding
at
his
all. No,
identity.
he's been in the game for a very long time.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
been about
martial arts for
McDojo
like 35
Yeah,
years or
McDojo
something.
life's been about.
So anyone in the sort of martial arts space online, this is what I try and explain to the people because obviously they got less context, will know of this account.
McDojo life.
They would have seen it at some point.
You can't avoid McDojo life.
Yeah, he's
It's
very
an
much.
OG.
Yeah, he's the trenches of the game. So he's very well known in this industry. But no, he's not anonymous at all. Where was I originally before that? America. So yeah, he'll naturally be the person that we're going to work with out there. But really, what's next is we'll go back to the marketplace, hopefully the best venue, and then just really refine the whole process of the day. Having the people that are on commentary, having the live stream, having the production of the entire process of walkout, filming, post, so people can cut promos. Just have that as optimal as possible, so that every level of that sort of theatre is captured, if you like. And I think we can just really double down on that. I said at the end, when I wrapped up the festival, I said, thanks for coming, next year, 100k. And just dropped the mic. And I knew the cameras were rolling as well. There weren't a ton of people around at that point because they'd gone up.
But that's clipped.
But the cameras were rolling somewhere. And there was multiple people that heard that. They just come up to me and went, 100k next year. And I just said, 100%.
Manifest.
We 10x last year. Why can't we 10x again?
Yeah.
You know, we said it was crazy, and it was to a certain extent, but it also wasn't. And if we execute how I think we can execute this next 12 months, that should be a no-brainer, 100k.
Yeah.
And then once you start having the conversation of, right, okay, this is women's sport, and you're putting £100,000 into the prize money, you qualify yourself as one of the highest paying women's pro tournaments in the world.
Yeah, it's not even close.
In the world. Yeah. And people are coming off the pub and winning that. I mean, big conversations to be had. So yeah, Thai wrestling, that is what's next.
Thai wrestling 2026. Females, get your feet out. To conclude.
Yeah, that's pretty much
what you said. Yeah.
On the Thai wrestling, it's gonna be a very important 12 months, and I think the most important thing is to have all the energy pressed into the World Championships, and that becomes the Wimbledon. That becomes the crescendo.
Good word.
Lovely word to add into my vernacular, as I once said. And put all the effort and energy going into that, and just really blow that out of the water. I've already hit up Ben the Bane Davis. I want him as the main MC.
Nice.
What a perfect character.
Yeah, he'll be on that as well.
I spoke to him, he said, I'll be so down. And I said, mate, you will be perfect. So we're really trying to tee up the best people in every role. So that pretty much concludes a wild couple of months. We'll try and wrap one of these up, maybe next month as well, because we had a lot to break down and discuss. But it's been a pleasure. As
Never
always,
a chore.
Keep it casual.